Morning, everyone. The March 21st, 2012 meeting of the City Council is here now called to order. This meeting has been properly noticed and posted in compliance with the open meeting law. These proceedings are being video recorded as well as presented live on KCLV Cable Channel 2 and are closed captioned for our hearing impaired viewers. Please note, some customers of Cox Communication who do not have a cable box can view this meeting on digital channel 89.5. The council meeting, as well as all other KCLV TV programming, may be viewed on the internet at www.kclv.tv. The proceedings will be rebroadcast on KCLV and the web on the Wednesday of the meeting at 8 p.m., also on Friday at 4 a.m., Saturday at 7 p.m., Sunday at 7 a.m., and the following Monday at 1 p.m. This building is protected by a state-of-the-art fire detection and suppression sprinkler system. If alarms should activate during today's meeting, please evacuate using the exits at the back of the chambers out to the mezzanine. Proceed out the double doors to the terrace and down the back staircase. Once outside, assemble on the northeast corner of the street from City Hall at Lewis and First Street. Employees wearing safety vests or our city marshals will inform you when it's safe to re-enter the building. For public comment related to items on the agenda, and I say again, on the agenda, citizen participation in public hearing items, we have available a speaker card which you may complete and submit to the city clerk. Cards are available online in the clerk's office or at the rear of the chambers. If you do not submit a card, it does not prevent you from speaking under public comment, citizen participation, or specified public hearing items. If there is anyone present today who has a need for a hearing impaired equipment, please see the city clerk staff right here, and they will direct you to where you may access that equipment. Before we proceed with the agenda, would everyone please rise for the invocation given this morning by Pastor Kishoro Ajiki, Evangelical Friends Church. I'm sorry if I made a mess of your name.
Yes.
And please remain standing for the pledge.
Good morning, Mayor. Good morning, City Councilman.
Good morning.
And happy spring season. The Word of God in the book of Songs of Solomon, chapter 2, verse 10 to 12, says, My beloved spoke and said unto me, Rise up, my love, my fair one, and come away. For lo, the winter is past, the rain is over and gone, the flowers appear on earth, the time of singing of birds is come, and the voice of dove is heard in our land. As we say farewell to winter season and start a new spring, we are once again reminded that we always have hope. I pray that our city will rise up and blossom to a time of spring prosperity, that thousands of people who come here every month be blessed with new jobs and new opportunity. Eternal Father, we thank you for the freedom you gave us in America. I ask that you bless the entire humanity with this blessing as well. Bless our Mayor, Carolyn Goodman, and City Council members with wisdom and understanding to deal with agendas and issues that you have set before them this day. Amen.
Thank you. We will now proceed with the ceremonial portion of the agenda. And Pastor, that was beautiful. I mean, I feel spring coming on. Thank you so much. What a handsome council, yes? All of you. So wonderful to be surrounded by my showmen. And we will proceed. This is the ceremonial portion of the agenda, and our first item, we're going to recognize the March Employee of the Month. And so I would like to call up our Director of Public Works, Jorge Cervantes, who always has something wonderful and exciting to share with us. And this morning, I am pleased to announce the March Employee of the Month is from his department, Gina Venglis. Gina, please join us. Come right on around. Please come right up close, you lovely lady. Gina is a project manager and has been with the City of Las Vegas since 2003. In her job, Gina oversees the design of civil engineering projects for roadway improvements, sewer lines, trails, and regional flood control facilities. There's a lot of construction going on in my neighborhood that's been going on for months. Is it yours? No. Since starting with the city's capital projects management team in 2008, Gina has been instrumental in getting a number of important projects completed. Some of them include the Las Vegas Wash Trail, Boulder Park Plaza, and the Neon Boneyard Park. These projects have turned out so beautifully if you've been around them and are improving the quality of life in our city. Gina has the ability to bring people together and resolve construction and design issues so they meet all their deadlines. Gina always brings a superior work ethic and is able to energize her team members. She is also able to handle multiple projects at one time. That is typical of us females. While keeping an eye toward what will ultimately be a benefit to the citizens of Las Vegas. She's a model of efficiency, I've heard over and over again. The City of Las Vegas is indeed privileged to have a dedicated employee like Gina. So on behalf of our entire City Council, it's a pleasure to name Gina the March 2012 Employee of the Month. And along with this certificate, Gina has received a $100 Visa gift card, compliments of the Nevada Federal Credit Union, and a donation of $100 will be made to the charity of her choice by Super Pawn. I'd like to ask Jorge to say a few words, and then we'll hear from Gina.
Thank you, Mayor. As was pointed out, Gina really is one of our go-to project managers when it comes to getting work out. Very, very efficient, very meticulous about her work, and really just a great project manager making sure projects out. But more importantly, apart from her proficiency in her job, she really does a lot of things for the community on her own time. Very involved in the church. She's what we consider our ambassador. Whenever we get requests to go to a community fair, talk about what engineering is all about, we ask Gina to go because her energy, her spirit really reflects what we hope comes across as what is potential career path for young folks that may be interested in engineering. So we kind of send her to be our ambassador and say, here's what engineering is about, hopefully motivate some young kids to pursue that career and get them to follow the path that she's done. But she's done a great job for us, and Gina, we really appreciate it. Thank you.
Thank you.
How about hearing from this talented lady?
Thank you so much. Thank you for so many kind words. I'm so appreciative for the recognition today of Employee of the Month. It's very easy to be happy and helpful and hardworking at the city because I truly work with a group of happy, helpful people at the city in general. I also want to thank God for all of the many blessings I have in my life, particularly my family and my parents, because they really set an example of morality and a work ethic that I just very much appreciate. Also, my husband, Leon, has been the source of my support and constant love for me for the past 17 years. And my sons, Nathan and Vincent, who have taught me many life lessons and are still teaching me the most important life lessons. Lastly, I'm very aware of the wonderful friends I have in my life that provide so much to me, and many of them work here at the City of Las Vegas, so I feel so blessed. And in closing, I really want to say that Public Works Department is a absolutely wonderful department filled with many intelligent, hardworking, generous individuals that help me do my best every day. It's an exemplary team to work with, and I am very, very blessed. Thank you so much for this honor today, Mayor. I really appreciate it.
Wonderful. Beautiful. Gina, might we have your family come on up for a photo opportunity? And while we present to Gina, the Employee of the Month has exhibited outstanding performance through productivity, leadership, initiative, or assistance to their fellow employees and the citizens of Las Vegas. Signed by the department, our city manager, and us. Congratulations. Now, if you come in real close, what's your name? Nathan, handsome Nathan. Look at those eyes. And what's your name? Vincent and Nathan. So if you'll stand right here, and if council, you could join around, and Mr. Cervantes, while we have a picture, how do we do this so we're not blocked? How's that? Is that good? You get it all? Okay. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Great, thank you. And I'd like to know, now that we're in this brand-new City Hall, where will this honor plaque go that acknowledges that she's our citizen of the month, our employee of the month?
Mayor, there's a reserved parking space where the visiting directors park, where she'll have a space available for her if she comes to this.
Okay, wonderful, very exciting. Congratulations. And Nathan and Vincent, I have one request of you. Tomorrow morning, breakfast in bed for your mommy. Okay? That was not given to you to have. Okay. Okay, for our next item, I'd like to invite our Building and Safety Director, Chris Knight, to join us, please, here. This is a man of many talents. And for the last several years, the city has been pleased to accept a special donation from the International Code Council that helps some of our youngest citizens learn a skill that will benefit them throughout their lives. I'd like to turn this microphone and the time over to Chris to tell us more about the program. Welcome to the microphone.
Thank you, Mayor, members of the council. Chris Knight with the Southern Nevada Building Officials. For the last 4 years, the Southern Nevada Building Officials have given this grant to all the local jurisdictions in Southern Nevada in cooperation with the Southern Nevada chapter of the International Code Council. The International Code Council is made up of all the building officials in Southern Nevada, as well as private sector engineers, developers, contractors, architects, and other development firms. The Southern Nevada chapter of ICC is committed to the safety of our buildings and the safety of our built environment. As part of that, we look at a pool code every year. Since 2003, the local jurisdictions have adopted a pool code. As part of that pool code, there are secondary barriers that protect any swimming pool that's been built since 2003. Prior to that, there were a lot of pools that were built that did not have secondary barriers. As a part of our efforts to ensure the safety of our children around pools that don't have secondary barriers, the organization has come up with this program of offering $1,500 for grants. In the city of Las Vegas in the last 3 years, we have served 180 children that have received free swimming lessons at the age of 5 years and younger. The American Medical Association says that if you give a child that age swimming lessons, it improves their chances of not suffering a drowning by 88%. So we think this is a very worthwhile effort, and we promote pool safety and helping our children learn how to swim and avoiding child drownings in the Southern Nevada area. And with that, Mayor, we'd be happy to present you a check.
Well, I like
You
checks.
and the council, a check with the paid the order of top for $1,500 to support child safety.
It's missing a
Hey,
zero.
thank you.
It's missing a zero.
This is wonderful. That's really grand. Oh, a great service.
Good job.
I noticed the Councilman Coffin's checking to make sure the finance is really real. Is it right?
Yes,
it
it
correct?
is. He said so.
Okay.
We'll take this to the bank.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Thank you.
Appreciate it.
Golf on you.
Thanks.
Thank you. Thank you, Chris.
Okay, so back over here we go. I was thinking, being so tall, and I know everybody's the same height or taller, we're still working through all of this at City Hall, how we're going to do this. So, moving on, I would like our final two items, Mayor Pro Tem Anthony will recognize two community groups who are providing outstanding service to our citizens. Mayor Pro Tem?
Thank you, Mayor. Good morning, everyone. It is my honor to recognize the American Red Cross. The President of the United States has designated March 2012 as American Red Cross Month, focusing on the life-saving services that the American Red Cross provides. I'd like to honor the American Red Cross of Southern Nevada with a proclamation today. I'd like to ask the Chief Executive Officer for the Nevada chapter, Scott Emerson, to come up. Mayor, please, Scott. Give a nice welcome, please. Thank you. Thanks for coming. Thank you. In the event of a natural disaster, large-scale emergency, or a terrorist attack, America's first line of defense is the citizens and their willingness to voluntarily respond and assist their community, their neighbors, and their friends. A properly trained and equipped citizenry supports America's professional responders, including local police, firefighters, and emergency medical personnel, saving lives and limiting casualties. The Southern Nevada chapter of the American Red Cross has taken the lead since 1917 in preparing our residents in our community by teaching life-saving skills like CPR, first aid, and aquatics to approximately 24,000 Southern Nevadans every year. The Southern Nevada chapter of the American Red Cross's 850 volunteers help a family affected by a home fire or a local disaster every 30 hours, help a military family with a crisis every 11 hours, delivers over 37,000 blood products, and serves approximately 42,500 hours at equivalency of $908,000. The Southern Nevada chapter of the American Red Cross continues to prepare its residents and community for disasters by offering blood services, family services, and donation services to support international efforts. Therefore, on behalf of the Mayor and the entire City Council, it's my honor to present the Southern Nevada chapter of the American Red Cross proclamation that proclaims today, March 2012, American Red Cross Month. Congratulations, and thank you very much. Could you say a few words?
Thank you very much, Councilman, Mayor, and other members of the council. We couldn't do this without the support from the community and the partnerships like we have with Las Vegas, whether it be the Emergency Management Department, the Fire Department, Public Works, Park and Rec. It's just an amazing relationship, and every interaction we've had has been incredible. And if you do the math, we're looking pretty good for 95 here in Las Vegas. So thank you very much.
Congratulations.
Okay, thank you. I have another one. Gentlemen, thanks for coming down. I appreciate you all supporting our proclamation today. At this point, I would like to recognize the Zelza Shrine Center for their pediatric care of children in Southern Nevada for the past 25 years. The Zelza Shrine is responsible for helping children with disabling orthopedic conditions, burns, spinal cord injuries, cleft lip and palate, among other illnesses, processing their application for care and transporting them to and from the Los Angeles Hospital or any other of the 22 Shrine hospital systems as their particular illness requires. Today, I'm honored to recognize the Zelza Shrine Center, a local chapter of Shriners International, which is celebrating a milestone for treating 5,000 completely recovered Southern Nevada children. I'd like to welcome Al Opengard, the potentate of the Zelza Shrine Center, and Dwight Marshall, a Shrine Hospital Board representative, and Caitlin Hawkins, a Shrine Hospital scoliosis recovered patient, to come up to the podium, please. So would you please come up? I also like Caitlin's parents to come up also. Joe, why don't you come up too? Very good. Let me give you a little brief history about the Shriners that I found very interesting. In 1870, a particularly fun-loving group of lunch regulars met at the Knickerbocker Cottage on 6th Avenue in New York City. Among the regulars were Walter Fleming, M.D., and William Florence, an actor. The group frequently talked about starting a new fraternity for Masons, one centered on fun, fellowship, more than ritual. Fleming and Florence took this idea seriously enough to do something about it. After attending an Arabian-themed party, Florence was inspired to suggest this as a theme for the new fraternity. With the help of the Knickerbocker Cottage regulars, Florence and Fleming solidified their ideas, drafted the rituals, designed the emblem and costumes, formulated a salutation, and declared that members would wear the red fez. As you can see, there are many members here wearing the red fez, and I want to thank you all for coming down. The fez is one of the most recognizable symbols of Shriners International, and it was adopted as the Shriners' official headgear in 1872. Named after the city of Fez, Morocco, the hat represented the Arabian theme the fraternity was founded on. It also serves as an outward symbol of one's membership to the fraternity. Much like the white apron worn by Masons as a symbol of their brotherhood, the fez is worn only by Shriners as a symbol of their membership in this unique fraternity. Shriners International is a fraternity based on fun, fellowship, and the Masonic principles of brotherly love, relief, and truth. With approximately 325,000 members in the United States, Canada, Germany, Mexico, the Philippines, Puerto Rico, and the Republic of Panama, the fraternity is open to men of integrity from all walks of life. Originally, all of Nevada was under one shrine center, which was the Carrick Shrine of Reno. The first Las Vegas Shriner Club was formed in 1933. In 1976, the Zelza Shrine Temple was formed, and in 1986, the first clinic was started for children. Since then, a screening clinic for children is held every quarter of each year. As one of the 5,000 completely recovered Southern Nevada children, I'd like to ask Caitlin Hawkins, who is 12 years old, to read a letter talking about her experiences with the Shrine Hospital of Los Angeles, the Shrine Hospital of Sacramento, and Las Vegas. So, Caitlin, why don't you come out of here?
My name is Caitlin Hawkins. I am 14 years old, and I had 2 surgeries at Shrine Hospitals in Sacramento, California. The reason why I had surgery was because I had scoliosis, and my curvature was 107 degrees. If you have scoliosis, that means you have a curve or curves in your spine. In some cases, if you have scoliosis, you can wear a back brace, so your curvature will not progress. But if your curvature is over 50 degrees, you need surgery. Scoliosis can occur if you have bad posture. It can also be genetic, but sometimes the reason is unknown, like my case. For some reason, it is usually girls who get scoliosis. I was first diagnosed with scoliosis when I was 12 years old and in 6th grade in January 2010. My mom noticed something did not seem right with my back, so she decided to get it checked out. I had an x-ray taken of my back, and the doctor said I had scoliosis, and it was really bad, so I needed surgery. The following Sunday, my mom told a few people about my scoliosis, and she was told about Shriners Hospitals. I started having doctor's appointments with Shriners in April 2010 in Los Angeles, California, but in the summertime, my mom and I started going to Sacramento, California, at Shriners Hospital, and we met Dr. Rolando Roberto. He told us my curvature was 107 degrees, and instead of doing one surgery, he wanted to do 2 surgeries to get my curvature as small as possible. He also said I'll stay in the hospital a month. Most people who need surgery to fix their scoliosis only have the second surgery I had, a spinal fusion. My surgeries were 1 week apart. The first one was on November 16th, and the second one was on November 23rd, 2010. They were both 7 hours long. In my first surgery, my spine was released. He used laser, and he had to collapse my right lung. Since my lung had to be collapsed, I had to do breathing treatments. In my second surgery, Dr. Roberto put 2 rods and 14 screws in my spine to keep it straight. Both of my surgeries went very smoothly. I recovered very fast. Instead of staying in the hospital a whole month, I only had to stay 2 weeks because I was recovering so well. I grew 2 inches in the hospital. I had a lot of fun in the hospital. In the hospital, some volunteer brought in their dogs, and someone actually brought in a bunny, and her name was Kylie. One of the nurses, Elsie, told me that if I play bingo, I would win an iPod. There were no iPods, but I did win a green teddy bear. When he saw my twin sister, he decided to play a prank on the other nurses. He told her to roll up her jeans, put a hospital gown over the front and back of her, walk stiffly and hold his hand, and walk out in front of the other nurses and fall. She fell so hard, she skinned her knee, and she still has a scar. Thanksgiving was 2 days after my second surgery. Pumpkin pie was one of the first things I ate after my second surgery. It was a very big piece, and it was very good. On my last day in the hospital, I had a very good pancake breakfast. I had a very small appetite, and so I was surprised when I could eat the whole thing. While I was in the hospital, some of my aunts and uncles visited me, and also my grandparents were with me the whole 2 weeks, and some of my cousins. I will never forget playing dominoes with my grandpa the day before my first surgery. One of my cousins gave me a giant yellow stuffed dog, which was once hers, and I named it Biscuit. 1 month after surgery was Christmas. My dad got my sisters and I a video game, which is one of the active ones. One of the games on it is a sword fighting game, which is a little bit difficult, and it took a lot of energy, but it's a lot of fun, and it's one of my favorite games. My mom made me take breaks so I wouldn't tire myself out and it would not be sore the next day. Every day I noticed improvement with myself. I went back to school after Christmas break, and I rarely took pain pills at that point. 6 months after surgery, I worked on getting my flexibility back. After some practice, I could touch my toes again. It got easier and easier every time I did it. Now I can touch my toes very, very easily, but I had a really hard time before surgery. I can breathe a lot easier now. Before surgery, sometimes it got really hard to breathe because my spine was pushing on my right lung. Before surgery, I looked kind of bad. My shoulders were very uneven, and so were my hips. My right shoulder blade looked twice the size it should have been. My back always hurt. One of the hardest parts about having scoliosis was some of the kids in my class bullied me because of it. It stopped after surgery, and I surprised them by all I've gone through. I did not participate in gym for a year, and everyone told me that I was very, very lucky. 1 year after surgery, I was able to do everything I could do before surgery. On November 23rd, 2011, 1 year after surgery, I made a spine cake with candy and cupcakes, which even had 2 rods and 14 screws. I made a YouTube channel to help other girls with scoliosis. There's a Facebook page made by girls who have scoliosis. No, made by a girl who had scoliosis. And I put a post on her page mentioning that I went to Children's Hospitals. One girl, Rissa, who also has scoliosis, said that she went there too, but the one in Salt Lake City, Utah, because she lives in Colorado. We decided to make a blog together. It's called squigglybuddies.blogspot.com. I would like to thank everyone who helped me get through this. My family, my friends, and especially Dr. Orlando Roberto and the Shriners.
Caitlin, that was great. Very good. Good job. That was awesome. I also want to recognize Caitlin's parents, Richard and Marlis. Thank you for coming down this morning. And Joe Alvarado, he was the one who contacted me and invited me down to the Shriners Center in Henderson, where they treat children and get them ready to go to another hospital in another state. And I want to thank you for doing that and
It was my pleasure.
educating me. And apparently you have something for Caitlin that you want to
have
present?
here.
Okay, why don't you come out?
We have the twin.
Okay, you're ne- oh, I didn't see you. Hold on, you're next. So, Joe, go ahead.
Caitlin, on behalf of our hospital and our chairman of the board, I'd like to present you with a certificate acknowledging the fact that you are our 5,000th child to completely recover, and we're very proud of you. The reason we keep calling you 12 is that's when we knew you. And we're like any parents, we don't forget, we never let you grow up. So, thank you so much.
Thank you, Joe. I also have a special guest I'd like to come down, Ms. Flanagan. She is the principal of St. Anne's Catholic School, and she has a special presentation she'd like to make. So, why don't you come on up here?
On behalf of the wonderful students and families at St. Anne, I would like to present, through their fundraising efforts that began in February, this check to the Shriners for $800. Thank you. Thanks for everything you do.
Absolutely. Come on up.
And I'm Richard Hawkins. I'm her father, and these guys are being entirely far too modest. There's a lot of organizations out there that do things, big things, and you never really expect it to be your family. You don't expect to be the one with a situation that really can't be dealt with. When you have, I mean, look at it, it was 109 degrees in a spine. Okay, this is 90 degrees. A straight turn, 190 degrees isn't a twist, that's a Z in the kid's spine. By the time Caitlin and many other kids like her, she's not even one of their worst cases. I mean, she's not even close. By the time she was able to get there, she was having trouble breathing at times. She would have to sit down at times. Today, I don't know if she'd be in a wheelchair yet, but it would be in a very near future for her. And this would have continued progressing. You have an organization here that not only does not ask for money from the families and children they're helping, they won't accept it. In its history, the Shriners has not accepted a dime from the kids and families they've helped. And again, it comes back to what the pastor was saying earlier, hope and a new spring. Caitlin was typically 2 inches taller than her twin Catherine. And it's one of those things that takes a while because the change happens. And as we started looking at this, she was now 2 inches shorter. She gained those 2 inches overnight. And the type of surgeries that she had, the type of surgeries that children with burns have. I mean, while Caitlin was in there that day, as we're sitting there outside of her second surgery, a plastic surgeon came out 3 or 4 times to talk to other families after completing a burn surgery and going back in. Because of this organization, children are getting surgeries that would not and did not exist. Caitlin mentioned the double surgery a week apart. As far as I know, that is still only performed in Shriners hospitals. It's one of their surgeries. At another event she was asked to speak at, there was a kid that they brought in from Romania who had lost his family in a fire, badly burned. He had just received the Shriners' first surgery where they were able to move a toe to a hand. Now, there's other surgeries like that. They were actually able to move enough with these surgeries that this organization has developed to give him a functional hand. They're not just straightening spines. They're not just fixing things. They're actually giving kids their lives back. And you really can't thank them enough for this. You'll have an entire organization whose sole purpose is to give children their lives back. And I just cannot thank these folks enough. And God bless them all.
That was perfect, Richard. And we are here to thank them today. And on behalf of the mayor and the entire city council, I have a proclamation honoring all of you and all of you gentlemen. I'd like to present this to the potentate, Mr. Opengard, to proclaim today, March 21st, 2012, Zelza Shriners Day. Thank you very much. Congratulations. If you could say a few words.
I'm not one of the modest ones. I have a few things that I would like to bring up, and some of them are numbers. Some of the things that we do, and in a minute I'll tell you why. We have a twofold mission. One, we like to have fun, and we do that. A lot of that fun is just helping kids. Okay? Give you a little idea what's going on. This is since the 1st of January. Our drivers have made 98 trips to our Los Angeles hospital, taking children down. Out of that, they've taken 288 children. They've been transported to the hospital for care. At present, we have over 700 children from the Las Vegas Valley on our rolls that we're taking care of. And the reason we need to get this out more is not that we do this, it's that we don't get enough publicity to a lot of people. A lot of people look at a Shriner and they say, oh, them the guys who wear their little red hats or drive little bitty cars in the parades or something like that. They don't know who we really are, a lot of people. And there's a lot of children out there who the parents don't know we could help. And that's why we need the publicity to get out there and let all that happen so we can help more kids. I thank you again. This is truly the highlight of my career, my year as potentate, and I thank you all for coming.
Thank you. I also have a representative of the Board of Directors from Shriners Hospital, Mr. Dwight Marshall. If you could talk a little bit about the hospital.
Yes, I'll try to be brief. And sometimes that's hard for university professors from UNLV, who, by the way, is very pleased to see one of our graduates here on the City Council. At least one, there may be more. I don't know. I recognized him from many, many years ago. We won't talk about how many. Again, my name is Dwight Marshall. I serve as a member of the Board of Governors for the Los Angeles Shriners Hospital for Children. Let me be very brief in giving you some statistics. They'll be dry, but they are important to us. We have dealt in the past year with something like 1,800 children like Caitlin. That is a fairly routine year. These are surgeries in Los Angeles. These children are brought from the states of New Mexico, Arizona, Southern California, northern New Mexico, southern Nevada, into Los Angeles, where generally they're brought with a parent in one of these white buses that you see running up and down 15. If you wonder why the Zelza Shriners are on 15 all the time, it's because of people like Jack over here who gets up at 3 or 4 o'clock in the morning, takes a kid or two into L.A., they're operated on, and brings them home the same day. We also are leaders in the United States, Mexico, and Canada, where we have some 22 hospitals in telemedicine. In order to reduce the cost of transportation and inpatient surgery, we're doing as much telemedicine as possible from Las Vegas to Los Angeles, where we have a panel of doctors dealing with the child, so we don't have to transport them. Well, I could go on and on and on about this hospital. I've been involved in voluntary work in Southern Nevada since 1966, and in fact on the national level. And I can say to you very plainly and very sincerely, this is by far the most impressive charitable organization I've ever been involved in. I have great pride in myself and these men. There are some 800 of us in Southern Nevada, and I'm very pleased to be a part of that activity and very pleased to be a representative of the Board of Governors of the Shrine Hospital in Los Angeles. Thanks for coming.
Thank you.
Can I have one moment, please?
Of course.
In the usually the first weekend of August of every year, we have a trip that where we go down to the hospital, and the hospital puts on the kids that's there. It's usually on a Friday afternoon, and we go for the weekend, and they get to meet the kids that's in the hospital at that time and how their surgery be done. I would like to invite the mayor and all the councilmen to come down and join us for that trip. I think it would be an exciting trip. I think you'd learn a tremendous amount, and you are voices of the public. You could help us tremendously, finding more children to help.
Thank you.
Thank you
for that invitation. I appreciate it. I also, one more announcement by Councilman Kaufman. Why don't you come on up here?
Thank you, Dwight. By the way, your comments about the UNLV graduates. It was actually Nevada Southern at the time. I'm not sure who else. So we have some more. I have 3 things to say about Shriners. 1, buy their onions every spring. They're wonderful. Mine lasted almost 6 months this time. If you store them right, it makes every recipe better. Number 2, I'm on the advisory board of the Shriners golf tournament here, which is held now the first week in October. Ladies and gentlemen, and people who are watching this on television, be sure to show up out there. The Shriners have done a wonderful thing for Las Vegas by keeping professional golf alive. The city is behind you all the way. We really thank you. You've invested millions in this in order to bring fame and recognition, and I think not so much recognition for your selfish sake, but a recognition of the fact you perform a wonderful service, and people don't know about it unless we talk about it. So it's very important what you're doing. You partnered with Danny Gans. I don't know how long. I mean, not Danny Gans, but what's the rock star's name?
Justin Timberlake.
Justin Timberlake. I don't know how long Justin will be a sponsor, but it's a name. I'm getting old, the mayor said. So thank you for that. The third thing is I'm standing here because of Shriners. 30 years and 3 months ago, I was in a car accident I caused, and was hit T-boned, you might say. So the only reason I'm standing is because 30 years and 3 months ago, I was laying in a hospital bed, Sunrise Hospital, staring at the ceiling tiles, paralyzed from the waist down. And it took 2.5, almost 3 weeks for the doctors to decide what to do with me, because I was contemplating at that time either a lifetime in a wheelchair, or maybe I was thinking maybe they could make me stand up all the time. Maybe I wouldn't have to be in a chair. They'll just freeze me like that. And then my surgeon, Dr. Don Mackay, a renowned doctor here, orthopedic surgeon, in fact, a doctor's doctor, finally came in and said, we think we have a solution. We're going to try removing all your vertebrae in the region of the lumbar area, build you new vertebrae from your hip, and put in these steel rods and clamps, which have been perfected by the Shriners to treat scoliosis victims. He had never done it before. It was his first time. Thank you for your investment in the health of children, which helped this old guy. Thank you truly.
Mayor Goodman?
I did not know that, Councilman, so I come behind you and thank you, and we know what a remarkable institution you've become. I'd like to add, for those who are watching, that you may buy these onions at, let's see, Rancho and Mesquite. On the empty lot there, just east of Rancho at Mesquite is where the onions are. At least that's one location I know about. I do know, too, that my husband's been very honored to be a member of that Zelza Shrine group, and a bit of a renegade, can't imagine why, but very proud. And so we are extremely proud. The one thing I do want to ask, since we have this wonderful contribution from all of these young people at St. Anne's School on Flamingo and Eastern, yes, is that? Maryland, excuse me. Do you take donations? And if so, where should the listening, not St. Anne's, our Zelza Shrine, where do donations go? I mean, can we just send them somewhere? Do you accept donations, cash?
They should come to Zelza.
Okay. Could you just give an address or an email or somewhere where they can contact the shrine so they know where to make their checks out to? I mean, since we have the microphone, let's make some money. Where do they send them?
I thank you. Zelza Shrine Center, 2222 Mesquite Avenue. Zip code
89106.
89106. And we will definitely thank you for them.
Thank you. All right. Thank you.
Again, thank you, Principal Flanagan, and thank you, gentlemen, for what you do, and congratulations, Caitlin. You look awesome.
I stood behind them. There's about this much height difference. She's catching up.
Think about coming with us.
Good sister, and good luck to you. Love to have you guys. Beautiful. Great comments. Thank you. We're not going to take a break, and we will continue on with our council meeting this morning. I do want to add that we're not going to all be leaning over this counter in the future. We do have a podium that's coming. It's just not finished yet. So we will be out front closer to you all in our next meeting. Thank you.
Oh, no. No, I mean, I hear that you get some all the time. Yeah, I know that. Yeah, I really did. I thought you were. Me and Anthony, we sat there and took each other out. You were ready. Well, they throw rocks. They throw me in jail.
I don't know if the guys are still in. Please take me
I'm just going to talk.
The one where I'm at. So you guys don't count.
Just before they start, most of the stuff. Afterwards,
Thank you. As we continue with the morning session, there are two announcements. The first one actually is an announcement of prayers and best wishes to Jerry Tarkanian, who has suffered a mild heart attack. He continues in ICU. But Councilwoman Tarkanian is, of course, with him in the hospital, and we wish him our best. He certainly has been so significant to all of us here in Southern Nevada and in the world of sports and athletics. So our prayers, and I know the council joins me in extending these, and I'm sure all of you do too, and those who are listening. Secondarily and excitingly, I want to welcome, and we will be swearing in at our April 4th meeting, new council person for Ward 2, Bob Beers, who was elected, and the data finalized last night. that he indeed won Ward 2 seat, and we're looking forward to working with him. He's been a public servant for many years. What I also want to do on behalf of the council and myself is thank all of those who were part of filing and cared enough about our city to want to be a public servant and join in that role. So it's very exciting for us to have a full bench again and to have the ward fully represented. And so that will be on April 4th. We will have a swearing in. So with those two items, we will now move on to our agenda. Excuse me. Public comment during this portion of the agenda must be limited to matters on the agenda for action. The amount of time any single speaker is going to be allowed may be limited. All comments made will be cross-referenced to those specific items on the agenda. If anyone submitted a speaker card or who wishes to speak under this portion of the agenda, please come to the podium and state your name for the record. During this portion, we are going to set the timer for 1 minute. Anyone who wishes to come forward under this portion? Hearing none, we will move on now to item number 10. Business item for possible action. Any items from the morning session that council staff or applicant wish to be stricken, tabled, withdrawn, or held in abeyance to a future meeting may be brought forward and acted upon at this time. Mayor Pro Tem, Councilman Anthony.
Thank you, Mayor. Item number 34, the city unfunded liabilities agenda item. Staff has requested that be held in abeyance till April 4th, 2012. And then item number 39, bill number 2012-14, staff has asked that to be held in abeyance to April 4th, 2012. And that is my motion.
Thank you, Mayor Pro Tem. There's a motion. Please vote. Please post.
Hold on one second. Was that item 39? Yes. Who requested this?
Staff.
I think so too. So whatever staff member is requesting this, please come forward.
In your recommending committee, you decided to obey it.
Right.
No,
I have an update on that, Councilman. Apparently, the Taxation Department has not given us the approval. That should happen before the 4th, so before we could sell the bonds, we have to have that. So we would need to obey it until the 4th.
Okay. April 4th?
Yes, sir.
Okay. And, well, I would like to speak on this item before we move forward. So I'm not sure how you want to handle that, Mayor.
We've already voted upon it and passed and accepted the abeyance, but please feel free to speak to it regardless.
Okay, then I'll just wait till the April 4th hearing. I'll just speak to staff. Don't worry about it. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, we will now move on to item 11 for possible action to approve the final minutes by reference of the special City Council meeting of February 6, 2012 and regular City Council meeting of March 11. Is there a motion to approve the minutes?
Motion to approve the minutes.
Thank you. There's a motion. Please vote. There's almost a motion. There's a motion made to approve the minutes. Please vote. Please post. Thank you. Motion carries. We will now move on to the consent agenda. And items 12 through 33 on the consent agenda are considered to be routine or recommended for approval by the departments and may be enacted in one motion. Are there any items the council wishes to bring forward?
Yes, Mayor.
Please.
Item number 14.
Item number 14 will be brought forward. Anyone else with an item? Mayor Pro Tem, I would entertain a motion that we approve the consent agenda 12 through 33 minus 14.
So moved.
There's a motion, please vote. Please post. Motion carries. We will now move on to item number 14. Councilman?
Yes, sorry, Mayor. I would like for staff to come forward and explain item number 14 for the public, please. This was an item that Councilwoman Tarkanian's office has received a few calls from, and so they wanted some level of explanation as to what exactly does item 14 represent.
Good morning. There's a button down there. It says MIC. May have a Band-Aid on it.
Thank you. Candace Falder, Finance Director. Item 14 that you're hearing today is seeking your approval to publish in the paper a notice of intent to augment the general fund. On April 14th, we would then bring forward the actual augmentation. Under NRS 354, augmenting the general fund requires a two-step process. It requires an initial notice to the public of our intent to augment, and then in the subsequent council meeting, after the publication, we bring forward the details of what we would do. The definition of an augmentation is seeking your approval to increase the appropriations level, the expenditure level within the general fund, and to do that, we would have to have excess revenue sources. In this case, we've identified some excess beginning fund balance, which is fund balance higher than what we budgeted would be coming out of fiscal year 11 into 12, and some revenue streams that have been slightly higher than we had anticipated. We would use those funding sources to increase the appropriations level of what we're going to spend in the general fund during fiscal year 12.
And also, as far as the publication is, which publications will this be notified in?
We will run this in the Las Vegas Review-Journal.
Okay. As the only publication?
That's the only publication required by statute.
Okay, great. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, Mayor, with that, I would move to follow staff's recommendation for approval of this item subject to all conditions.
Thank you. There's a motion on item number, agenda item 14. Please vote. Please post. Motion carries and is approved. We'll now move into administrative. A report for possible action regarding unfunded liability of the city. And that was obeyed. Thank you very much. I am not paying attention. Thank you very much. Now we're into, let's see, planning. And this is an abeyance item, agenda item number 35, discussion for possible action regarding a beer, wine, cooler off-sale license, Mulligetta, Boer, DBA, CJ Market, 1000 South Torrey Pines Drive, Suite A. This is in Councilwoman Tarkanian's ward. Is the applicant present? Yes, I see. And Mrs. Duddleston.
Thank you, Your Honor. Karen Duddleston, for the record, Business Licensing Manager. Item number 35 is a beer, wine, cooler off-sale license. On this particular application, the Metropolitan Police Department has issued a suitability review that we consider unfavorable. A copy of that is in a green memo in your confidential binders. Also from the applicant, we did receive yesterday afternoon a request that this item be obeyed until the April 18th City Council meeting, but staff is prepared to go forward with that today. I do not believe the applicant is present, but I believe he has a representative here.
Dave Etter, 777 East Courts Avenue, Sandy Valley, Nevada.
And we do have representatives from the Metropolitan Police Department, and I believe there's also a representative from the State Gaming if you have any questions for them. Want to introduce yourself?
Would you care to make some comment, Mr. Etter?
Yes, Mr. Brior, the applicant, would like to have been here today. Unfortunately, when the letter was submitted, he thought it was going to be able to be held in advance until April 18th. Unfortunately, he was working and was not able to get out. He's driving a limo, and he had people with him this morning when I found out at 9 o'clock that he had to be here.
Any comments, questions from council?
Yes, Mayor.
Yes, please, Councilman Barlow.
From my briefing with the councilwoman staff, they've had a number of conversations with Mr. Bogetta, and he's very familiar with the councilwoman and her entire staff from having ran previous businesses, not only in her ward but in my ward as well. So I'm very familiar with him, and he's very familiar with the process. And so from those conversations with the councilwoman, she has informed him that she is not in support of his request for the request for, I believe, beer and wine.
That is correct.
At this location. However, he's free to run his convenience store, however, without the beer and wine at this time. And so her wishes would be to deny the request of beer and wine, but fully support his ability to continue to run his business, whether it be 24 hours or set hours, without beer and wine. So I'm going to move forward with the councilwoman's wishes to deny this application, and that will be my motion moving forward.
Mayor Goodman?
Yes.
Down here?
Yes.
We really don't have a basis on the record, and a denial needs a basis, so if maybe a brief presentation could be made as far as the recommendations of Metro and the department, and then the maker of the motion could add whatever he believes is appropriate for the basis for the denial.
Thank you, Mr. Steed. Mr. Councilman Barlow?
Yes. Number one, the councilwoman shared during the briefing with her staff and I that the applicant continues to provide she and her staff, as well as folks in the community, with false information as to the things that he has done in the store, and also, and from what I understand from Metro, may have some additional information. But due to a lot of the false information that he has provided, as well as the location in which he's looking to set up, there's some concerns that she has as the area of concern in this specific use.
Your Honor.
Please.
Again,
Ms.
for the record,
Huddleston.
Karen Duddleston, Business Licensing Manager. Business Licensing has reviewed the suitability report that has been provided to you by the Metropolitan Police Department. We would also note that this applicant had a beer and wine cooler license, and it was revoked by the City Council on December 6th of 2006 for sale of drug paraphernalia. This location is right across the street from the community college and right down the street from Bonanza High School, which is another item. The Metropolitan Police Department can go into details on their report on suitability, and I would ask Sergeant Donegan to represent their concerns.
Thank you, Mrs. Duddleston. Would you please state your name and make that report?
Sergeant Donegan with the Oh, there we go. Sergeant Donegan with the Las Vegas Metropolitan Police Department Special Investigations Section. To recap highlights of the report that we presented. In addition to the citations listed on page 6 of Metro's report, on April 13th of 2006, the applicant was arrested for felony possession of drug paraphernalia. Over 250 items of narcotics paraphernalia were recovered under the cash register of the Oki Discount Mart. Exactly 2 weeks later, on April 27th, 2006, at the City of Las Vegas Planning Commission, the applicant was asked if he had ever had problems with Metro and stated he has never had problems with Metro, thus lying to the Planning Commission. On December 6th of 2006, the City Council revoked all of Mr. Boer's licenses at the OK Discount Mart. On December 9th of 2009,
he sold alcohol to an LVMPD cadet at the Paradise Market, which is a business owned by his wife in the county. During our current investigation, Mr. Bohr stated he had no court actions. He failed to list his divorce, 2 civil lawsuits, as well as a Chapter 13 bankruptcy. And if I may read a small part from the report, at first, Mr. Bohr stated he has had no court cases, which was what he listed on his application. When asked about a court case that was found, he would then admit to having that one case, but did not disclose any of the others until he was specifically asked about them. He would then give details regarding that court case. The applicant stated he had no local, state, or federal liens. He has had a federal tax lien in 2004. He failed to list all of his citations issued to him by the Las Vegas Metropolitan Police Department. The applicant stated that his wife is the legal owner of Paradise Market, yet on 3 federal tax returns from 2007 to 2010, he lists himself as the proprietor and his wife as a homemaker. Our area of concern is that this applicant fails to tell the facts and to give us the truth over and over and over again. And this is Investigator Holly. Do you have any comments?
My details are in the report.
Could you
I'm sorry.
restate your name and either say yes or...
Investigator Kimberly Holly with Las Vegas Police Department. No, I have no additional comments other than my report. Thank you.
Thank you both very much. And Ms. Duddleston, any other comment to this?
No other comments. Due to the suitability report, to the repeated issues that we were able to confirm of citations issued in the county to a similar market and trying to get through to the real facts, as well as the revocation by this council, we are recommending denial at this time.
Thank you. Any other comment, Ms. Strader? Thank you. Councilman Barlow, on behalf of Councilwoman Tarkini.
Yes, and just for the record, I would like to take into the record of my motion the information that was provided by Metro as well as our business license director, move to deny the request based on suitability of the applicant and truthfulness. That would be my motion.
Thank you. There's a motion on the floor. Please vote. Please post. Motion carries, but as I understand, he certainly is able to continue on. This portion is denied, the convenience store. Thank you. Thank you, Karen and Mrs. Duddleston.
Thank you.
Okay, we will move on now to boards and commissions. Abeyance item for possible action, Civil Service Board of Trustees, Priscilla Rocha. Term expiration was February 21st of 2012. Is there a recommendation to fill this position?
Yes, Mayor. And
Thank
I want to thank you, Mayor, and the council for working with me on this item. I just wanted to make sure that I was able to catch up with the applicant who had wanted to serve on this board for the City of Las Vegas. And I would like to recommend to the council Rodney Jordan, who is a graduate of the University of Nevada, Las Vegas, who has basically raised his family in the community. And I believe also his girls had an opportunity to attend your school as well. And so Rodney is an individual that works hard. He's also was a member of the CDRB board here for the City of Las Vegas and does a lot of outreach, specifically in the Summerlin area. He loves the city, and he has wanted me to share with you all that he's looking forward to do anything that he can to continue to work with this council and continue to make our community a great place. So I would like to recommend Rodney Jordan to replace Priscilla, who has also done a wonderful job and who has been a part of the City of Las Vegas and working with the City of Las Vegas Mayor and Council for many years. And so I want to thank her. But that will be my motion at this time, to appoint Rodney Jordan to fulfill the vacancy of the Civil Service Board. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Any questions, comment from council? Councilman Coffin or Councilman Ross, anything? And I, too, would like to thank Priscilla Rocha. I know her quite well now and know she's a very giving and loyal and responsible member of our community, and I'm very excited about this appointment for Mr. Jordan. He's also a wonderful member of our community. So there's a motion. Would you please vote? And please post. Motion carries. Thank you very much, and I'm sure our city clerk will advise him of the appointment. We are now moving on to recommending committee. Bill eligible for adoption at this meeting. Bill 2012-12. Councilman Barlow, do you wish to have the bill read?
Yes, Mayor. I would like to have this bill read, but immediately following the bill being read, I would like for Mr. Arndt also to place some comments on the record that came out of recommending yesterday with Mayor Pro Tem Anthony as well as Councilman Coffin as far as some concerns in regards to the transparency of information that we send out to the public. So
wonderful.
At this time,
if you will read the bill, please, Mr.
Yes, thank you. Bill number 2012-12, an ordinance to update various provisions of the municipal code relating to the stopping, standing, parking, and loading of vehicles, and to provide for other related matters. As Councilman Barlow indicated at the recommending committee meeting yesterday, it was expressed that perhaps both our title and our summary of the bill could provide additional detail that would let folks know exactly what the bill accomplishes. And so I've proposed some new language for both the title and the summary to be incorporated in a First Amendment. With your permission, I'll read that right now, and then if Mr. Arndt has any additional comments. The new language would read an ordinance to update various provisions of the municipal code relating to the stopping, standing, parking, and loading of vehicles, assigning and transferring certain parking enforcement authority and responsibility to the Parking Enforcement Unit of the Department of Economic and Urban Development, describing the circumstances under which certain parking enforcement authority and responsibility is shared among various departments and functions, authorizing the city traffic engineer to delegate or assign certain parking-related functions to other officers or units of the city, and providing for other related matters. The summary would include that additional language as well.
Thank you, Mr. Steed. Mr. Arndt.
Thank you, Your Honor. Good morning, Mayor, members of council. For the record, Bill Arndt, Director, Economic and Urban Development. As Deputy City Attorney Steed indicated, this bill is really resulting from a reorganization that we did where we're consolidating a lot of the functions within the city into a single division within the Economic and Urban Development, the division being Parking Services Division. This bill updates various provisions of the municipal code relating to the stopping, standing, parking, and loading of vehicles. As Deputy City Attorney Steed indicated, the bill makes a number of clarifying changes, but really no substantive changes to the regulations that govern non-moving violations. These changes include the following: enabling enforcement authority with the Department of Economic and Urban Development. Enforcement authority and the staff that goes with it will be transferred from Detention and Urban Development, Department of Detention and Enforcement, from that department into the Department of Economic and Urban Development. In order to accommodate that transfer, the department itself, the way the code is written, has to have enforcement authority. And so this does that. The second item, it gives the traffic engineer the authority to delegate certain decisions to parking. Decisions include curbside parking spaces, how they're used. Third, it gives authority to issue permits and collect parking-related revenues to the parking division. Currently, that's housed in the finance department. It allows transfer of administration of hearings and appeals process to the parking division. Currently, that's in the finance department. And then finally, it transfers responsibility for installing, maintaining, and collecting parking meters to the parking division. That's currently housed in the Department of Detention and Enforcement. With that, staff recommends approval, and I'd be glad to answer any questions you might have.
Thank you very much. I see Ms. Clark here, and unfortunately, you should have been up at the beginning, and then to be able to address this, there is room at the end of the agenda for public hearing. This is not public hearing at this time. Yesterday was the recommending committee meeting. Oh, wait until your microphone's open, please, and please be brief if you will.
Okay.
It's on.
Okay. Yes. I just want to clarify. The mic
Please
is not
state
on?
your name, please.
It's on red, yeah.
It's ready, you're on, but please state your name and please be
Juanita
brief.
Clark, representing Charleston Neighborhood Preservation. And I'm here to just clarify when we should have been here to address our concerns about this bill.
Yesterday morning in the recommending committee meeting.
Okay, and is that in this room?
It's in the, up in the main part of the building, not in chambers. So if you would contact Councilwoman Tarkanian, and we can, or our clerk, our city clerk, she can, in case the location changes, she can tell you where.
Yes, Mayor. As of yesterday, we're going to relocate the recommending committee into the city clerk's conference room on the second floor. So going forward, all those agendas will have our location on it.
Is it always the same time? And what is that time?
9 o'clock.
It's 9 a.m. in the morning.
Thank you. And I appreciate that, Mayor.
Yes, Mayor, Council, move for approval, subject to all conditions.
That's the First Amendment version?
As First Amendment version. Thank you, Val.
Thank you. There's a motion, please vote, and please post. Thank you very much. Motion carries. We will move on to item number 38. Excuse me. Oh, excuse me, Councilman Coffin.
Thank you, Your Honor. I just want to express thanks to our legal staff as well as Bill Arndt's EUD staff for cooperating in changing the title and summary on this bill so that it more accurately reflects what is actually being done. Because it's a major shift of responsibilities within the department. Wasn't easy to understand. Now it is, and but I heartily approve of the change. Thank you.
Thank you. We will move on to item number 38, which is Bill number 2012-13. Councilman Barlow, do you wish to have the bill read?
Yes, Mayor.
Bill number 2012-13, an ordinance of the City Council of the City of Las Vegas, Nevada, authorizing the issuance of its City of Las Vegas, Nevada general obligation limited tax golf course refunding bonds, additionally secured by pledged revenues, Series 2012B, for the purpose of refunding certain outstanding bonds, providing the form, terms, and conditions of the bonds and the security therefor, and other details in connection therewith, providing other matters relating thereto, and providing the effective date hereof.
Move for approval.
There's a motion. Please vote. Please post. Motion carries. Thank you very much. We will move on to item 40 as item 39 has been obeyed to April 4th. Item 40, Bill number 2012-15. Councilman Barlow, you are just a busy man. Do you wish to have the bill read?
Yes, Mayor.
Please.
Thank you. Bill number 2012-15, an ordinance authorizing the issuance by the City of Las Vegas, Nevada of its negotiable City of Las Vegas, Nevada general obligation limited tax Fremont Street Experience refunding bonds, additionally secured with pledged revenues, Series 2012C taxable, for the purpose of refunding certain outstanding bonds, providing the form, terms, and conditions of the bonds, and the security therefor, and other details in connection therewith, providing other matters relating thereto, and providing the effective date hereof.
Move for approval.
Thank you. There's a motion. Please vote. Please post. Motion carries. Thank you very much. Moving on to item number 41. Item 41, Bill 2012-2 is eligible for adoption at a later meeting. We will move on to new bills. Item number 42, item number 42, Bill 2012-16 will be heard at the recommending committee meeting on Tuesday, April 17th, in the clerk's office, conference room at 9 a.m. Would you like to have the bill read?
Thank
I
you.
would like to have the bill read.
Thank you, Mayor. Bill 2012-16, an ordinance to amend the downtown Centennial Plan to streamline the approval process for outdoor dining and entertainment, conform provisions regarding temporary outdoor events in the district known as 18B, the Las Vegas Arts District, to other applicable code provisions, clarify that the Symphony Park area is a sub-district of the Parkway Center District, and provide for other related matters.
Thank you very much. At this point, I will assign councilmen Barlow, Anthony, and Coffin to this recommending committee. We'll move on to item number 43. And that is our closed session, and we will adjourn till 1 o'clock. So our afternoon session, according to the agenda, will start at, we are recessing, not adjourning. I do that all the time. It's from my past life. What can you do? You adjourn your family from the table. What can I tell you? So we are now in recess. Thank you very much. We'll see you back at 1 o'clock. Have a good lunch, everybody.
So I can't say anything, can I?
Ladies and gentlemen, I think we will start the afternoon session at this time, and Councilman Barlow will be here, I understand, but at this point is not. And so this is the public hearing, and for possible action, any items from the afternoon session that the council staff and/or applicant wish to be stricken, tabled, withdrawn, or held in abeyance to a future meeting may be brought forward and acted upon at this time. Councilman Anthony.
Thank you, Mayor. Items 57, 58, and 59, variance 43359, SUP 43358, and SDR 43360, applicant Bustin' Suds Car Wash owner JGM Holdings on .88 acres at 1326 North Martin Luther King Boulevard. The applicant has asked us to be obeyed till the April 18, 2012 meeting. And item number 60, SUP 43987, public hearing, applicant SEMA Mizraki, owner King George LLC at 1200 East Charleston Boulevard and 1125 South Maryland Parkway. The applicant has asked this item be obeyed till May 16th, 2012, and that will be my motion.
Thank you. There's a motion. Please vote. Please post. Thank you. Motion carries. We'll move on to item 45, public hearing for possible action to consider the report of expenses to recover costs for abatement of nuisance located at 4712 Dover Place for fees in the amount of $4,010.25 and assess a maximum of $27,950 in daily and failed inspection civil penalties for a total of $31,960.25. Property owner Francisco Ongako. This is in Ward 1, Councilwoman Tarkanian, who is not here. Just so that you would all know, Councilwoman Tarkanian, as we mentioned this morning, her husband, Jerry Tarkanian, suffered a mild heart attack and is still at ICU in the hospital, and she's with him. And also this morning, we announced, of course, the results of the election in Ward 2, and Mr. Bob Beers has been so elected, will be joining in public service with this wonderful body of people, and will be sworn in on the 4th of April. And as I mentioned, Councilman Barlow is expected. So the item, this is a public hearing, and is the property owner present? Mr. Ozzuno. Excuse me, you're not on. There you go.
Story of my life. Oh. Mayor, members of the council, Mike Bowles, Code Enforcement Manager. The major cross streets to this property are Decatur and Charleston. This property is a foreclosure. A notice of default was filed on December 2nd, 2011 by the Nevada State Bank. This case was opened on August 11, 2011. A notice and order was issued on September 8, 2011, and the case was closed on February 22, 2012. A total of 9 inspections were conducted in conjunction with this case. Because of noncompliance by the property owner, the city was forced to take abatement action. The abatement action started on February 14, 2012, was completed the next day, February 15. The abatement action consisted of removal of all refuge, waste, high grass and weeds, application of herbicide, removal of a dilapidated shed, installation of lock on gates and boarding of all windows and doors. The city's out-of-pocket expenses for that abatement work was $4,010.25. The accrued late fees and civil penalties are $27,950 for a total out-of-pocket expenses and civil penalties of $31,960.25. The property value on Zillow as of February 28th of this year is $51,600, and staff recommends that the council approve the expense report and assess all out-of-pocket expenses and civil penalties as a lien against the property.
Has there been an effort to find the gentleman?
Yes, there was, Mayor. We are required by statute to send notices to the, pursuant to the assessor's records, we send notices of certified mail return receipt requested. They were all returned.
They were?
Yes, ma'am.
How do we know he's alive?
We don't have any reason to believe that he's not alive. On occasion, we do talk with neighbors and get information that a property owner is deceased, but in this particular case, we had nothing to indicate that the gentleman is no longer with us.
Okay, thank you very much. Mayor Pro Tem, I understand you will make a motion on this, please?
Thank you. So the applicant's not here today, and you have made attempts to contact this person. You've never spoken to him? Is
No,
that
sir.
correct? Nobody from the city's ever spoken to him?
No, sir.
Okay, and we've made phone calls, sent letters, and no response.
We make every effort we can to contact the property owner. Yes, sir.
All right, well, I will go ahead and my motion will be assess the entire amount, $31,960.25, and we'll see what happens in the future. So that'll be my motion.
Thank you. Another question. Do we ever make an effort to find out in one of these situations what lending institution holds the paper on the property?
Yes, ma'am, we do. Until recently, it was very confusing trying to track down who the lenders are. That's gotten easier. And if we know who the lender is, we do send a copy of the notice in order to the lender.
And that lender has, the lender on this property has received that and has not been back in touch with you or anything?
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you very much. Any questions or anything from council? Seeing and hearing none, please vote on the motion and please post. Thank you. Motion carries, and we will move on to item 46, public hearing for possible action to consider the report of expenses to recover costs for abatement of nuisance located 2713 Howard Drive for fees in the amount of $4,474.25 and assess a maximum of $27,650 in daily and failed inspection civil penalties for a total amount of $32,124.25. Property owner Thomas Guy Conti, Jr., Ward 3 in Councilman Coffin's ward. This is a public hearing which is open. Is the property owner present or representative? Mr. Osuna.
Mayor, members of the council, this is a vacant single-family dwelling, and the major cross streets are Oakey and Fremont Street. This property is not in foreclosure, so all notices and orders were mailed, registered mail return receipt requested to the property owner, and they were returned as not being accepted. This case was opened on June 1st of 2011, and a notice and order was issued on August 17, 2011. The case was closed January 30th of 2012. A total of 10 inspections were completed on the property. Because of noncompliance on the part of the owner, the city was forced to take abatement action, which commenced on January 18, 2012, and was completed on the 20th of 2012. That abatement action consisted of the removal of refuge, waste, high vegetation, and animal feces, which required that we remove the top 2 inches of topsoil from the premises. The city's out-of-pocket expenses for that abatement action were $4,474.25. Accrued late fees and civil penalties totaled $27,650 for a total of all out-of-pocket expenses and civil penalties of $32,124.25. The property value as of February 28th of this year, pursuant to Zillow, is $47,700, and staff recommends that the City Council approve the expense report and assess all costs and civil penalties as a lien against the property.
And again, the lender has been notified?
This property is not foreclosure.
Okay. Councilman Coffin.
Madam Mayor, thank you, Your Honor. I think this was a health hazard, and to have to remove 2 inches of topsoil almost qualifies for Superfund status. So it must have really stunk in that neighborhood from that house. So unfortunately, these are high costs. I think we'll have to lean him, though, and then we'll get his attention. So therefore, I move to follow staff recommendation, Your Honor, that we assess full hard costs and civil penalties as stated.
Thank you. It is public hearing. Please state your name.
No.
Thank you, Todd Farley, 240 North 19th Street. When they remove the topsoil on that, do they put something like on this topsoil to keep the dirt from blowing?
Would Mr. Bausch answer that question? I'm curious too.
No, they do not. But that's a good suggestion. It's something we can incorporate into future contracts.
We can always send that soil over to you too, because it will help your trees and shrubs grow better. It's very lively. Will I have a motion?
Yes, and another comment
I'm
from
sorry,
the public.
Mr. Hodges
Sorry.
has found us now.
Excuse me, sir, I don't mean any harm, but the property still...
Sorry, your name, please.
My name is Anthony Hodges. The property still is still owned by the owner still own it? All I got to say, get your money.
Thank you. Any other comments? Hearing none, there's a motion. Please vote. Please post. Motion carries. Thank you. We will move on to item number 47, public hearing for possible action to consider the report of expenses to recover costs for abatement of nuisance located at 1401 Ardmore Street for fees in the amount of $2,706.50 and assess a maximum of $25,000 in daily and veiled inspection civil penalties for a total of $27,706.50. Property owner, Avali Investments, LLC, care of Edwin C.B. Valentin. This is also in Ward 3, Councilman Coffin. It's a public hearing. I declare it open. Is property owner present? No, I see that. Mr. Zuno.
Mayor, members of the council, the major cross streets of this property are Eastern and Oakey. This is not a foreclosure. The notices and orders were sent, certified mail return receipt requested, and were received by an agent of the owner. This case was opened on August 22nd of 2011. The notice and order was issued on September 19, 2011, and the case was closed February 22nd, 2012. A total of 7 inspections were completed on the property. As a result of non-voluntary compliance by the owner, the city commenced abatement action on January 11th of 2012 and completed it on February 21st. The abatement work completed by the city consisted of removal of all graffiti from public view areas, the removal of high dead vegetation, grass and weeds, removal of all refuge and waste, and the securing of all open windows and doors. The out-of-pocket expenses for that work totaled $2,706.50. Accrued late fees and total civil penalties totaled $25,000 for a total of all costs, late fees, and penalties of $27,706.50. Staff recommends that the City Council approve the expense report and assess all out-of-pocket expenses and civil penalties as a lien against the property.
Thank you. Councilman Coffin?
Thank you, Your Honor.
And I must apologize. I keep calling you Mr. Zuna. It's no wonder with failing eyes at my age. Pick up the right name.
I understand.
I know better. It's just, one of those days. Oh, sorry. Councilman, no, we have comments, please.
Well, we have a question of the staff first.
Okay, please.
Which is, in one of these letters, one of his response, Mr. Vail or Mr. Valentin responded at one time or phoned in a year ago and said, this is in the hands of the bank. What bank is that, Mike? Because I can't tell. It doesn't say here. It just says it Evale Investments, which is short for his name. So is it possible that a foreclosure has occurred and we just don't know?
Through the mayor, Councilman Coffin, it's possible that after we commenced the abatement action, that the foreclosure was initiated, but at the time that we initiated the case, we didn't have that information. So we would continue to work with the owner, the legal owner that's described on the county tax assessor's rolls.
Yeah, he called in, if I may just continue, Your Honor, he called in September 2nd last year, advised the property's in control of the bank, but he didn't provide you a bank name apparently. So, and no bank has called you, called our agency anyway. Okay, well, we've got to go ahead. I suppose I'll wait for the...
If I may, Mayor, Councilor Coffin, we've really expanded our efforts to contact property owners and lenders, particularly since the passage of the vacant foreclosure registration ordinance. So if we know who the lender is, we'll do everything we can to get in contact with the lender. When we do the property research now, we identify not only the assessor's records of who the property owner is, but who's the lender. And even though some lenders say they're not responsible, we send them the notice and order. Same thing, certified mail return receipt requested. So we've greatly expanded our efforts to get a hold of both the property owners and the lenders.
After we hear the rest of the public testimony, I'll move to lien, or I'll move to levy all the charges, and then maybe if we could return a call to that guy and see what bank was it that he said has it. Thank you, Your Honor.
Thank you. Please.
Thank you. I have Todd Farlow, 240 North 19th Street. I have a question for Dr. Scott. Dr. Scott, a couple of years ago, the city passed an ordinance saying that a property could only be boarded up for a certain number of months. Is that ordinance still on the books? What happened to that?
I don't believe we ever passed an ordinance like that because I don't believe there was a rationale for determining exactly how much time would pass to have a house boarded up. There was a
lot of discussion, but
a lot of discussion about it, but it never came to pass.
Thank you. Next, please.
My name is Anthony Hardy, 123 Sir David. The property is in foreclosure?
This property may be in foreclosure at the time that we took this action. It was not.
So who owns it now, bank or what? Somebody got to own it.
My assumption is if it's in foreclosure and it's probably back in the possession of the bank, and pursuant to Councilman Kaufman's request, we're going to identify who that is.
Well, Mr. Coleman, go to the bank and get your money. Thanks.
Thank you. Councilman, did you make a motion? That was sort of a motion, but
Not yet, no, Your Honor.
Okay.
If public hearing is closed, then I will make a
Please.
motion to levy the full hard costs and administrative costs as outlined by staff.
Okay, there's a motion. Please vote. Please post. Motion carries. Thank you very much. We'll move now on to item 48, public hearing for possible action to consider the report of expenses to recover costs for abatement of dangerous building demolition located 827 Hassel Avenue for fees in the amount of $23,858.65 and assess a maximum of $27,650 in daily and failed inspection civil penalties for a total of $51,508.65. Property owner, Marion D. Bennett. This is in Ward 5, Councilman Barlow's ward. This is a public hearing, which I now declare open. Is the property owner present?
He's not here. I wonder if you should trail this for a little bit until he shows up.
Okay.
I don't know who would vote on it.
Okay, I've had a suggestion from Mayor Pro Tem that we trail this until Councilman Barlow is here, and so we will do that. That's 48. And we will then move on to number 49 for public hearing Action to consider a request for waiver and or fee reduction totaling $2,381.25 recorded against property and civil penalties in the amount of $42,000 pending recording against the property for a total of $44,381 for 25 cents for property located 1923 South 6th Street. Property owner AmTrust REO 1 LLC, care of Residential Credit Solutions. This is in Ward 3 of Councilman Coffin. This is a public hearing. I declare it open. Is the property owner present? Mr. Baus.
Mayor and members of the council, this is a request for waiver and or reduction of fees. The main cross streets to this property are St. Louis and 6th Street. The property is now in foreclosure, or is now an REO, real estate owned property, but at the time that the action was taken by the city council, it was not in foreclosure. The case was open on April 13th of 2011. We issued a notice and order on June 1st of 2011, and the case was closed September 12th of that year. We completed all the abatement work as of September 2nd, 2011. The abatement work consisted of removal of high weeds, grass, herbicide, application and removal of a dead mulberry tree, and painting and boarding of all windows and doors. The city's out-of-pocket expenses for that work totaled $2,381.25, and total late fees and penalties totaled $42,000. So the total of all costs and late fees are $44,381.25. Those costs and that civil penalties were approved by the City Council at its October 19, 2011 meeting. The property value pursuant to Zillow as of February 29th is $114,900. And staff's recommendation is that the City Council deny the waiver request.
And who holds the paper, please, on the foreclosure? Which bank or which lending institution?
I'm assuming it's
AmTrust?
AmTrust, yes, ma'am. AmTrust REO LLC.
Thank you.
I'm Brian Kyle. I'm the broker for First Serve Realty here in Las Vegas, and I'm the representative for AmTrust. We have a buyer for the property, have had them ready to go since January, and so they're ready to close. Their intent is to get the property fixed up, spruced up, cleaned up, make it very, very nice. It is an investor, a local investor, and we'll get a family moved in there and get the property all cleaned up and nice as soon as possible, as soon as we can close.
Is the offer on the property the 114?
It's actually a little bit more than that, 118 and 280.
Thank you very much. Anyone wishing to be heard on this from the public? Please step forward again, state your name.
Thank you, Todd Farley, 240 North 19th Street. I would kind of like to know from the applicant how it got into this condition. Why didn't they step in and clean this thing up before it got to this place?
Thank you. Next, please.
My name's Anthony Hart, 123 David. So are you the owner, sir? You the owner?
No, I'm just a real estate agent.
Okay. So the property is owned by a bank or a corporation or something?
Yes.
Make them pay. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Anyone else wishing to be heard? I'll close the public hearing. Is there a motion, Councilman Coffin? I don't know whether you heard, or because I heard there was some conversation. They have an offer of $118,000 on the house.
Did you say that just now, that you have a $118,000 offer?
Yes, sir. It's been accepted by.
I didn't hear that part of it. I heard
yes.
There was an investor on the hook to possibly buy it.
It's under contract, and that
Since
buyer
January.
is ready to close, and the purchase price is $118,280.
Is that an owner-occupant or another
It's an
investor to own it and rent it out to somebody?
He's going to, I've been told by the buyer's agent, we actually even have a family that's ready to move into the property.
So it's an investor purchase to create a rental property?
It is.
Where is your, have you got some paper to show us that in fact you're that close? Where's the offer?
Sure.
Did you show the offer to our staff?
I don't think so, but I can give it to you now. Mr. Paperwork on that.
It's a little late to show it to the council, Staff should have had that in time to give us advice on the issue. What do we have there, Mr. Bosch? Can you tell, Mike?
We have an offer. It's dated December 2nd, 2011.
Okay, we've got a 3-month-old offer.
Before the new year, and it's fully executed. Both the buyer and the seller have signed it. The escrow's been opened, and it's been open for several months now, and we were just waiting for this hearing before we can close.
What was the, Mike, what was the Zillow on that?
The Zillow is $114,900.
And yet the offer is $118,000.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Well, I can't waive the hard costs, Brian.
Okay.
I'm inclined to waive, well, at least 90% of the administrative costs, but that would keep you in the ballpark. If you really have a person ready to occupy this place, then I'd even go a little farther and waive 95% of the administrative costs. We can get this place filled up fast.
Yeah, that's everybody's intent, is to get somebody moved in there and living in the property.
That changes the math as worked out by our staff, but I feel it's worth the effort if you are going to get this thing occupied.
Yeah, just as a side note, it was amazing all the attention this property received when we listed it for
I'd
sale.
like to let other colleagues weigh in on these things too when we get, where we're at a close situation where we can have a deal.
Yep.
And
So, Your Honor,
Councilman-
if anybody else wants to.
Yes,
weigh in on
Councilman
that.
Ross would like to enter the conversation.
Thank you, Mayor. I appreciate that, and thank you, Councilman, for allowing me to ask a question. With the hard costs and with what Councilman Coffin is proposing, I mean, this won't kill the deal, will it? You recognize you'll have to at least pay those hard costs.
Yes, and I realize that. I think the owner realizes that, and they're prepared to get those costs paid immediately.
Okay, and the deal's really done. I mean, if the
deal's
offer's been
done,
made,
yeah.
accepted, you open an escrow account, I guess, so, Councilman, I guess I answered my own question.
It's a cash transaction, so, and the buyer's been chomping at the bit.
Thank you, Mayor, for allowing me to ask that question.
Thank you. Yes, Councilman Anthony.
Since you're asking our opinion, I would actually be inclined to waive the entire civil penalties. I mean, there really isn't any reason why we should penalize this person for somebody else's destruction of the property. They're actually the good guys, and they're trying to fix it up and get a family in there. So I'd even recommend just the hard costs, and that's it. But I'll follow your lead on that.
Thank you, my colleague. I want to ask Mike, though, have any of these notices that have gone ignored happened after this transaction took place?
No, sir.
After AmTrust took over?
No, sir. Everything occurred, our abatement action all occurred before this
Okay,
company took over.
then my motion will be to assess the hard costs only, and any other conditions that may be recommended by staff here.
Are you, if I might add, Councilman, are you going to put a time limit on when, even though the papers seem in line and everything else, that all of this should occur?
Staff, what do you recommend on time?
Council, it's been your past practice to require that any reduced amounts be paid within 30 days of your action or reverse back to the full amount.
Then that is part of the motion, Your Honor.
Thank you very much.
That's only a
Is
few
that
blocks
all
from
right
my
with you?
house.
Yeah,
30 days, you're fine with that?
That's fine, thank you.
I will
Great.
watch close to my house, so I'll be watching.
Okay, yeah, it'll be nice.
Thank you. There's a motion. Please vote. Please post. Motion carries. Thank you very much. Now what about the trailed item? Just hold it to the end? Can we, is that okay, to hold it to the very end of today?
My ward has so many.
Okay, Mr. Bowes, would you be sure to stay here to the end? We're still trailing that for number 48. And so we're just going to continue on. Okay, we will now move on to the one motion, one vote. Items 50 through 53 may be considered one motion, one vote. They're considered routine public hearing items with no condition changes. Any person representing an applicant an application or a member of the public or member of the council not in agreement with the conditions and all standard conditions for the application recommended by staff should request to have that item removed from this portion of the agenda. Number 50, RQR 44040, applicant Regan National Advertising owner, SDL Inc., for possible action on a required review of an approval special use permit, SUP 3269, for a 40-foot tall, 14-foot by 48-foot off-premise sign at 1203 East Sahara, Ward 3. This is in Councilman Coffin's ward. Then number 51, RQR 44049, applicant Lamar Central Outdoor LLC, owner MER-CAR Corporation, for possible action on a required review of an approved special use permit, SUP 2290, for a 40-foot tall, 14-foot by 48-foot off-premise sign at 4506 East Charleston Boulevard, also in Ward 3, Councilman Coffin. And number 53, RQR, excuse me, did I just do R? No, I didn't. RQR 44051, applicant Lamar Central Outdoor LLC, owner W.H. Bailey Family Trust, for possible action on a required review of an approved special use permit, SUP 2467, for a 40-foot tall, 14-foot by 48-foot off-premise sign at 208 East Sahara, Ward 3, Councilman Coffin. And number 53, RQR 44084, applicant Clear Channel Outdoor, owner Kenneth Simpkins, for possible action on a required review of an approved special use permit U-0171-89 for a 40-foot tall, 12-foot by 24-foot off-premise sign at 1323 South Main Street. This is also in Ward 3, Councilman Coffin. Planning Commission and staff recommend approval of all items. All these items are public hearings, which I now declare open. Is there anyone wishing to be heard on these items? Please step forward and state your name.
My name is Anthony Hardy, 123 Teresa Davis. Mr. Coffin, they sound good. It's all in your, the ballpark is all in your whatever. Thanks.
Thank you. Anyone else wishing to be heard? Hearing none. Councilman Anthony, do you have a motion to approve these items, or do you want to do it, Councilman Coffin?
I'd like to do these, Your Honor, because
Yes.
they're all in my ward, and
Fine.
there is some confusion. By the way, I've driven all these locations. They are all simply a continuation of existing signs. But there's confusion out there because of the repeated wording on these kinds of things where you have a sign, the word required review might mean something to somebody in the know that in fact something exists. But I wish the word existing could be inserted on all of these kinds of things. Because the word existing in front of a sign, would really help a lot. We get protests from people who don't want the sign in the neighborhood, which is already there. And they forgot it was there, or they just didn't know, So I'm going to move for that, but I'm just going to make this request of staff, and I think it might be the clerk that puts these, if you will please, anytime you have a review of an existing sign, please use the word existing.
And or new if it's new?
Yeah, something that will spell it out.
I agree. That's very wise.
Okay. So therefore, I will move for the approval of the agenda items 50 through 53 in the one motion, one vote part of our agenda.
Thank you very much. There's a motion. Please vote. Please post. Motion carries. Thank you very much.
And Mayor, just for the council's information, it's the planning department that actually puts those items onto the agenda.
Yes, I looked at Mr. Flynn there, and he smiled as his usual way. I think he has it. Thank you very much. We are now moving on to item number 54 in our planning, and that's RQR 4401, abeyance item, review required, public hearing, applicant Leslie Wilburn, owner Luke Lobato LLC, for possible action on a request for a required review of the previously approved special use permit, SUP 38866, for 775-square-foot massage establishment with waivers of a distance separation requirements to allow 100 feet from a school where 400 feet is required, 0 feet from a residential use where 400 feet is required, and 230 feet from another massage establishment where 1,000 feet is required at 9061 West Sahara, Suite 104. This is in our vacant Ward 2 seat, and staff recommends approval. This is a public hearing, which I declare open, and is the applicant present? Please step forward if you are. Hearing none, is there anyone wishing to be heard on this? Are you prepared, Councilman, to, Anthony, to make a motion on this?
Thank you, Mayor. Flynn, so this business has been in place for how long?
Just a little over a year.
Okay, so it was approved by the city council a year ago, and part of the condition was to review this establishment a year later to see what was going on.
Exactly.
Okay, and had been any problems, issues, complaints, anything like that?
There haven't been any calls for service there at the location. They are in compliance with the requirements of their business license. We physically inspected the location and are recommending approval of this required review with no further reviews necessary.
Okay, so I'll follow, my motion will be to follow staff's recommendation for approval.
There's a motion on item number 54. Please vote. Please post. One, two, three, four. Motion carries. Thank you very much. We will now pick up agenda item 48 in Councilman Barlow's Ward 5, and I will reread that. This is public hearing again for possible action to consider the report of expenses to recover costs for abatement of dangerous building demolition located at 827 Hassel Avenue for fees in the amount of $23,858.65 and assess a maximum of $27,650 in daily and failed inspection civil penalties for a total of $51,508.65. Property owner Marion D. Bennett. This is in Ward 5. Councilman Barlow. This is a public hearing. I declare open. Is the property owner present or representative? Mr. Bowes, if you would.
Mayor, members of the council, the major cross streets to this property are Revere and Lake Mead. When we initiated this case, the property was not in foreclosure, but as the case unfolded, we learned from the owner, Mr. Bennett, that the property was in fact in foreclosure. So we sent copies of all correction notices and our notice in order to the lender that was identified as CREF or CREF. I'll spell it, Mayor. It's CEREF REO2 out of Long Beach, California. We had some dialogue with the asset management company that works for the lender. The asset management company indicated that they were waiting on the insurance adjuster to go out and adjust the damages to the property, and then they would take care of it. After that conversation, the lender and the asset management company did not follow up. So as a result of the absence of follow-up on their part, we were required to go ahead and use city funds to complete the abatement work. We started the abatement work on November 21st of 2011, and we completed it on December 20th. The abatement work consists of removal of a fire-damaged structure, some dilapidated structures, and the removal of refuge, waste, dead trees, and vegetation. Our out-of-pocket expenses for this one was $23,858.65. Again, that included the complete demolition of a fire-damaged structure. The accrued civil penalties are $27,650 for a total of out-of-pocket expenses and civil penalties of $51,508.65. The property value as of February 4th of this year by Zillow is $40,700. It's staff's recommendation that the City Council approve the expense report and assess all costs and fines as a lien against the property.
Thank you, Mr. Bowes. This is a public hearing. Anyone wishing to be heard on this item, please come forward and state your name.
My name's Anthony Hardy, 123 East David. So the property went back to the original owner, Marion Bennett? Or the bank own it now?
Went to the bank.
So he don't own it, the bank owns it?
That's correct.
This is bank property?
Yes, sir.
Get your money.
Which bank, please?
I'm going to spell it, Your Honor, because I'm not sure how to pronounce it. CEREF REO2. And they're in Long Beach, California.
Thank you, I'm sorry, I heard you say that, and I just didn't believe that was a bank name. Well, anyone else wishing to be heard? I will declare the public portion closed. Councilman.
Thank you, Mayor. I will move to follow staff's recommendation for approval of this item subject to all conditions.
Thank you very much. There's a motion. Please vote. Please post. Motion carries. Thank you very much. We will now move on to item number 55, VAR 43-723, abeyance item variance, public hearing, applicant owner Oak Brook Realty and Investments 2, LLC, for possible action on a request for a variance to allow 10 210-foot projecting signs on an existing building where 8 signs with a maximum area of 32 square feet per sign are allowed at 321 South Casino Center Boulevard. This is in Ward 3, Councilman Coffin. Planning Commission, 601 vote. Staff recommend denial. This is a public hearing, and if you would please state your name.
Robert Cunningham, 6030 South Jones Boulevard with Tanny Civil Engineering, representing the applicant. What we're proposing to do here, I put on the overhead, there's existing banners there today. They're decorative banners hanging off the side of the building, off of the parking garage to break up the side of it. We're proposing to swap those out with signs that have decorative backing on them. I believe actually the future signs are showing up on the screen there. One thing that we did do was we reduced the text in height so that the text doesn't take up the full height of the banner. And we recently just submitted an exhibit that showed it takes up about 70% of this one that's up now, about 70% of the overall decorative banners. We would be glad to answer any questions that anyone had, and respectfully request your approval. Thank you.
Thank you. Staff, can you respond to why the denial?
Again, the signage that would be permitted is limited to 32 square feet for a total of 8 signs on the parking structure. They're requesting 10 signs at a total of 210 square feet each. So it does dramatically exceed the amount of signage that would be permitted by code.
Okay, thank you. Anyone wishing to be heard, please step forward.
Yes, thank you. Todd Farlow, 240 North 19th Street. Councilman Coffin, these are fabric material that I see. Are you, have they insured to you that they'll be kept in a good condition, where if I don't want to see something that's all ripped up and looking crappy here. That's my main thing. So have they given you an assurance that they're going to keep these nice? Thank you.
Your Honor, I'll state my reasons when I make a motion.
I just want to back up what he just said. They have to take very good care of the signs, especially if they are made out of flexible material. So if they can't guarantee they're going to keep it in good condition, the call is yours.
Councilman Coffin? Is there anyone else, pardon me, that wishes to be heard on this item? Close the public hearing.
Your Honor, what they are doing there is real nice. In fact, you and I, about a year ago, went to the ribbon cutting for the start of the construction of those restaurants down on the ground floor, the retail aspect of this. Those retailers, and there are some restaurants that want to build in there, coffee shop and things, if they had signs against the building on the ground level, they could not be seen because of the required trees, the trees required by planning, which have now grown and rather thickly and very nicely to cover the ground floor. So, well, you can't see it from the slide that's up, but that's on the east-west street. That might be Bridger. I'm sorry, I can't remember. But in any event, the west elevation faces the jail. So you've got 3,000 or 4,000 jailbirds on one side, and nothing but lawyers and judges on the other side. I don't think any of them are going to be offended. Aesthetically, I don't think they're paying attention. Frankly, I think that nice fabric banners with some color would do a lot to help improve the appearance of a parking garage. So I'm going to move for approval, and I trust that the city has standards that will require that if something falls into disrepair, that we notify them and expect repair.
Can we make comment back on that, that there is something that if they fall in disrepair, these lovely banners will be fixed?
There is some general language in the city's sign code that does require the signs to be maintained, so certainly there is language there.
Okay, so Your Honor, I continue with my motion. I believe it's in order, and I think that it'll add to the appearance rather than detract. Sometimes codes are just kind of inflexible in that regard, and numbers just don't always tell the story based upon the circumstance. So my motion was to approve.
Thank you. This motion, please vote. Please post. Didn't come through. Thank you. And so go the lovely banners.
Thank you.
Congratulations. Moving on to item number 56, variance 43956, abeyance item, variance, public hearing. Applicant owner, Wiseman Living Trust, for possible action on a request for a variance to allow a 3-foot front yard setback where 20 feet is required and a 6-foot corner side yard setback where 15 feet is required for a proposed attached carport on .14 acres at 2300 East Mesquite Avenue. This is in Ward 3 in Councilman Coffin's ward. Planning Commission and staff recommend denial. This is a public hearing. I declare it open. Is the applicant present? And state your name, please, and whatever you would wish to say, please.
Bill Wiseman, 2300 East Mesquite Avenue.
Monica Gresser, architect for Brazen Architecture, assisting Mr. Wiseman in his quest to add the carport to his home.
Okay, anyone from the public wishing to be heard on this item? Hearing none, I will close the public hearing. And is there a motion, Councilman
Your
Coffin?
Honor, yeah, I'm going to move to approve. And the reason is the street looks nice, and there are other structures out there. It is true that this would be a little different than other structures, but it doesn't face to the front of the house. It faces toward the side. Mr. Wiseman keeps a neat house. The cars that he restores should have some shelter. I do not see that it could harm anything, so I will move for approval of this item.
Thank you. There's a motion. Please vote. Please post. Motion carries.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. The motions 57 to 59, items 57 to 59 are obeyed to the 18th of April. Correct? Okay. And so we will move on to, also item 60 has been obeyed to the 16th of May. So we will move on to item 61. ROC 44234, abeyance item, review of condition, public hearing, applicant owner, SLE Investments LLC, for possible action on a request for review of condition of an approved special use permit, U0052-99, to delete condition number 3, which states, quote, the sale of individual containers of any size of beer, wine coolers, or screw cap wine shall be prohibited at 6698 Sky Point Drive. This is in Ward 6, Councilman Roth. Staff recommends denial. This is a public hearing. I declare it open. Is the applicant present?
Madam Mayor, if I might, Flynn Fagg, Department of Planning down here. We received a letter from the applicant, Robert Morton II, requesting that this item be withdrawn without prejudice. We'll make sure that the city clerk has a copy of the letter for the record, but again, the applicant has requested to withdraw this item without prejudice.
Thank you. Would somebody like to put that in the form of a motion, please?
Mayor, I don't believe we need a motion. Do we need a motion on it? In that case, Mayor and council members, I would move to withdraw without prejudice agenda item 61 from the agenda.
Thank you. There's a motion. Please vote. Please post. Motion carries. We'll move on to item number 62. Subject, excuse me, SUP 43285, special use permit, public hearing. Applicant owner Rock Spring Plaza LLC for possible action on a request for a special use permit for a 40-foot tall, 14-foot by 48-foot off-sign premise, existing or non-existing?
Proposed.
Okay, thank you. At 7175 West Lake Mead Boulevard, this is in Councilwoman Tarkanian's ward. Planning Commission, a vote 6-0, and staff recommend approval. Public hearing, I declare it open. Is the applicant present or representative?
Good afternoon, Laura Drea, 520 South 4th Street with the offices of J. Brown. This is a proposed billboard. It meets all of the separation requirements. We have met with Councilwoman Tarkanian. She didn't have any concerns about it, if that helps with anybody with their motion. And without belaboring the staff report, we have approval from staff and Planning Commission. I ask for yours as well.
Thank you very much. Is there anyone wishing to be heard on this item? Please come forward, state your name.
Theresa David, and Ms. Titanium is not here, but staff and planning both agreed that it's to approve it, so I don't know how she would go about it, but it sounds pretty good to me.
Thank you. Anyone else wishing to be heard? I declare public hearing closed. Councilman Barlow, you wish to comment?
Yes, Mayor, I would like to move to follow staff's recommendation for approval of this item subject to all conditions.
Thank you. There's a motion. Please vote. Please post. Motion carries. Thank you very much. Thank you. We'll move on to item number 63. SUP 44154, special use permit, public hearing. Applicant Nada Hamaka, owner, Bonanza Land Business Park, for possible action or request for special use permit for a 20 square foot accessory packaged liquor or off-sale establishment within an existing 1,680 square foot convenience store at 4550 East Bonanza, Suite A. This is in Ward 3. Councilman Coffin. Planning Commission and staff both recommend approval. This is a public hearing, which I declare open. Is the applicant or representative present?
Dave Etter, 777 East Courts Avenue, Sandy Valley, Nevada. I'm here today representing the applicant. Good afternoon, Mayor and Council.
Thank you. Thank you. Anyone wishing to be heard on this item? Please come forward, state your name.
Mr. Corbin is in your ballpark.
Thank you very much. Anyone else wishing to be heard? I declare the public hearing closed. Councilman Coffin?
Your Honor, I move for approval of this following the recommendations for approval from the Planning Commission and our staff, subject to the conditions as outlined.
Thank you. There's a motion. Please vote. Please post. Motion carries. Thank you very much. Have a good drive home.
Thank you. Have a good afternoon.
Item number 64, SUP 44164, special use permit, public hearing, applicant WGTO, Inc., owner 711, Inc., for possible action on a request for a special use permit for a 12 square foot accessory packaged liquor off sale within an existing 2,940 square foot convenience store at 1601 West Oakey Boulevard. This is in Ward 3. Councilman Coffin. Planning and staff recommend approval. This is a public hearing. I declare it open. Is the applicant present? Please state your names.
Hi, my name is Ritu, and it's 116 Saramonte Court, Henderson, Nevada.
I don't know where Henderson is. Sorry. Yes, yes, sir.
Kumar Chopra, I'm the manager, 116 Saramonte Court, Henderson.
Thank you very much. Anyone wishing to be heard on this item?
I know you hope I don't ever come back. That's good. Whatever. So this is 7-Eleven. They have a pretty good reputation throughout the valley, you know, as a company that I know it's very franchised, but good luck, sir.
Thank you.
Thank you, Todd Farlow, 240 North 19th Street. At the Planning Commission, on what, I think this might be the application here, they had several people from the community come out and support them and saying I think it was this one, saying what a nice landscaping they did in that, but I don't see any landscaping there. Maybe this is a different one.
The landscaping is on the sides, all sides.
Oh.
Thank you. Anyone else wishing to be heard? Please come forward. Hearing none, I will close the public hearing. Is there a motion, Councilman Coffin?
I'm curious where Adnan is. Adnan, is he running the store today?
I'm sorry, please, I didn't hear.
Our owner, where is he?
Oh, I'm the owner.
She's the owner, I'm the manager, and we were running the store.
Okay.
We just came from there.
This has been a little controversial since the Planning Commission. On the other hand, there's probably just as many people against as there are for it. It's a good business. They're family-owned and operated. I know this because it's right around the corner from my house. Your Honor, they're going to lose their tanks, which is their primary source of income. I think since at least 12 or 13 years, those tanks have been monitored because they had a leak. They think they stopped the leak with temporary measures, but Southland Corporation is tired of monitoring it, and it's really out of the owner's control. He's going to lose the primary source of income here. So they're going to pull those tanks out in April or May this year, leaving him in a difficult spot. So that's why he has asked for this permission to sell liquor in a small area dedicated behind the counter only, glassed in, as I understand. So this is very close to Bell's Market, which is where we had some controversy just a couple of months ago. So sorry to have controversy come at your doorstep again. In any event, I think it'll work. This is not forever, It's how long would the permit be for, Flynn? There is a subject. It's subject to recall, isn't it? Too many microphones are on.
Councilman, normally the SUPs are, normally the last 2 years, they actually come back up they normally last forever unless there's some cause for you to revoke the SUP, be it through some fraud of them in applying for it, or too many calls for service, or something of that nature.
So, Your Honor, to continue, I think that I'm going to put an additional restriction on this as I move to approve, and that is that the special use permit have a life of 1 year as opposed to 2 years, just as we put on Bell's Market around the corner. I'm sure you'll succeed and not have a bad name after 1 year, but this is important to make sure that the neighbors are satisfied that you will do this in a proper way. Is that agreeable to you?
This store is not close to the Bell's Market. This is on under that freeway.
Oh, I'm sorry, West Oak.
This is about a mile away from the
okay, I'm sorry.
market. That store which you're talking about is another location.
Oh, you're sure right.
This store is an industrial area.
Industrial area.
There is no neighborhood around the store.
Yeah, I haven't had any.
And this is across from.
I've had too many.
I'm sorry.
Stop. I've had too many.
Yes.
Definitely too many locations. That want
this
liquor.
is a totally industrial area. It is not near any neighborhood, and
it's near your. It's near
The Scotch 80s.
Yeah.
It's the northwest is Scotch 80s. You're in at the edge of the flood zone at the railroad track.
Yeah,
is
you
where
are not
you're
losing
located.
your pumps.
correct. And
you are not losing your pumps. I hope I didn't scare you to death.
They were dreaming they had pumps to lose.
I had some inside knowledge.
The other store is this has a very big gas station, and as far as we know, they are planning on keeping. But tomorrow, God knows. We run the store very tight, and with the 7-Eleven, we have in last few days, sometime, we have won 5 awards from 7-Eleven, and our customers, we keep the store very clean, and it's only 12 square foot behind the counter. It's just to stay competitive in the neighborhood.
I can attest to the location, how we're trying to improve business interest there, because directly across the street from you, we've had several businesses go in and out. We've had several that have been stable for years and years and years. And then directly to the east of you is that shopping center with the paint shop, and a lot of traffic going back and forth down to the Goodyear Tire as well as to the jewelers. And you serve a great clientele in a very clean
We
place.
appreciate that. And as a matter of fact, across the street, the Papaga restaurant, where Papaga restaurant used to be, those people have approached us since we have come in. We have made the neighborhood better, and they want us to take over the Papaga restaurant to develop that also.
What kind of food will you serve?
Well, we are still contemplating to take over the site or not, but we want to keep American food.
Well, that's
Yeah.
okay too.
Yeah. So,
Your Honor.
We love an international flavor.
Okay, Your Honor. I'm going to follow your recommendation and that of the Planning Commission and the staff and move for approval with, however, a 1-year approval on the special use permit.
Madam
1-year
Mayor, if
review.
I might
With
clarify.
a 1-year review?
Required review in a
Yes,
public
1-year
hearing.
required review. Because you are so close to a nice residential area.
okay.
This will not harm you.
I'm sure you'll be fine when you come back.
Well, a little bit.
Okay. There's a motion, please vote. Please post.
Thank you, everyone.
Motion carries. Thank you both very much, and thank Councilman Barlow for recognizing that we had some confusion up here as to where specifically you were located. So thank you, Councilman. Good. That microscopic look. We are now on to item 65, SUP 44165, special use permit, public hearing. Applicant Ilan Gorodeski, owner 1213 South Las Vegas Boulevard, LLC, for possible action on a request for a special use permit for a 29-square-foot accessory package liquor off-sale use within an existing motel at 1213 South Las Vegas Boulevard. This is in Ward 3, Councilman Coffin. Planning and staff recommend approval. This is a public hearing. I now declare it open. Is the applicant, hello, present?
Hello.
Please state your names.
Hi, my name is Ilan Gorodetsky. Thank you for seeing us. Beautiful place you guys have here.
Wonderful.
Beautiful. Wow.
Glad you like it. We like it too.
Yeah, I feel like
Little
I'm in the opera.
hollow call every once in a while. And your name, sir, please?
Zohar Robin, 100 Urbana, Henderson, Nevada.
Wonderful. You need to move in here. What is all this Henderson living?
Yeah.
Need to move down to where everything's happening. Anyone wishing to be heard on this item, please come forward. Hearing none. Is there a motion, Councilman Coffin?
I would like to hear Elon expand on the plan. Please talk about it very briefly.
Sure. We're trying to have a kiosk liquor for the people that are driving by, stopping by. We're trying to revive the place, give as much more amenities for the hotel people, and all the people that are coming through Viva Las Vegas and all around, so they'll be able to stop by, get something, and walk away.
Okay. You've never been a man of very many words, so I guess we'll just close it and move with it for approval. And the reason is you're doing a good job there. You are consolidating property. I know that you have acquired some more land there, which is good. Before too long, you and Mr. Eliadis will own that section of the boulevard. Then it'll be very easy to deal with you.
Thank you so much.
All right, I move for approval with no restriction on that, other than the standard as approved by the Planning Commission and staff.
Thank you, Councilman. There's a motion. Please vote. One more punch, Councilman. Please post. Waiting. Motion carries. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much. Have a good day, everybody.
Thank you, you too. We'll move on to item number 66, SUP 44167, special use permit, public hearing, applicant sixth and free owner, T. Brio 2 LLC, for possible action on a request for a special use permit for a proposed 5,958 square foot tavern limited establishment with a 1,055 square foot outdoor seating area at 525 East Fremont. This is in Ward 5, Councilman Barlow. The Planning Commission and staff recommend approval. This is a public hearing. I declare it open. Is the applicant present or representative? Please state your name.
Applicant Michael Parks, 900 Las Vegas Boulevard South, Las Vegas, Nevada.
Anyone wishing to be heard on this item, please come forward and state your name.
My name is Anthony Harley, 123. Today I just want to say hello, Mr. Barlow, and good luck.
Thank you. Todd Farlow, 240 North 19th Street. I really like the idea of the outdoor seating. I think that'll tie right in there. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Anyone else wishing to be heard? Hearing none, I'll close the public hearing. Is there a motion, Councilman Barlow?
Yes, Mayor, there is a motion, but I would like to comment first that I really wish you would have come in and at least shared this exciting news with me prior to me seeing it for the first time on the dais.
We did.
When was this?
You were sick and we had a phone call.
Oh, so I didn't see it. You told me about it.
We gave it. We left the plans and everything.
Okay. Then
We
I
had
have to
two
get on my
meetings with
staff
you.
about it.
You
I
weren't
appreciate
available
it.
to make either meeting.
But Flynn shared with me that it's a great venue coming into the downtown community, and we're going to have a good time eating there, specifically outside. I've really been pushing for mayor and council for the opportunity of sidewalk dining. I think that's really cool. You go into other communities and have an opportunity to sit out on the sidewalk, and then with the rooftop dining that's being proposed as well. I don't want to steal your thunder. Why don't you just walk us through your development? How about that?
You've got, and just a clarification, we're not going to be serving food at the location. It's just going to be a tavern.
Okay, with a tavern.
But
okay.
we will have the sidewalk seating out front and along the side on 6th Street.
But I can bring food in, right?
Absolutely.
Okay, we're good.
Absolutely.
Okay. Well, so as far as music, what are your plans for outside venue of music? Are you planning on doing any bands on the roof or anything like that?
No bands planned. We'll have DJ and then possibly some acoustic guitar music, but no full bands are planned for the rooftop. Just being
okay. And you plan on operating 24 hours?
No.
What are your hours of operation?
Depending on how business goes, we're looking at opening around 3 or 4 in the afternoon till 2 or 3 at night.
Okay. So with that, I look forward to. When are you opening? How about that?
Hopefully end of summer.
End of summer?
And we'll definitely.
What type of theme? Just tell us about your venue. I'm trying to get folks excited about coming down.
This is free advertising.
Right.
You're heard by thousands. Watch the review.
We'd love to come and sit down with you and walk you through the plans.
No. I want you
laid
to
back,
tell
East
the
Coast
listener,
type vibe. We're going to keep some of the structural components in place, the exposed wood trusses inside, dark wood floors, just kind of a laid back place where that promotes people coming in and having conversation and just kind of promoting the growth in the neighborhood.
And bringing additional excitement to the East Fremont district?
Absolutely. Keeping the development of the block
I feel like
going.
I'm leading the witness here, Mayor. I mean, goodness gracious.
Well, it's his first time here, Councilman.
Oh, is that what it is? Then I don't want to chase him away. I want you to be nice and comfortable. I mean, we're a friendly council here. We're pro-business.
Right.
Right? And I apologize that.
Not at all.
I didn't
We're
get a chance
excited to be open, and
meet
we've been working hard on this. So we're looking forward to having all of you come by and have a drink.
Okay, good deal. All right, so with that, good luck to you. My motion will be for approval subject to all conditions, and also, are you planning on, or have you participated in the visual improvement program?
Just submitted our application last week.
Okay, great.
Yes.
So we're looking forward to some great neon
Our
signage.
signage was approved yesterday by the DDRC, and we've got a great neon sign that's going out front, so it'll definitely add to the neighborhood.
And what your theme? What theme are you going?
No real theme, just kind of just a normal kind of laid back. I guess it'd be like an East Coast pub type of theme.
Okay.
But
All right.
no heavy theming.
Okay. Well, good deal. Well, with that, I'll move to follow staff's recommendations, subject to all conditions, and good luck to you.
Thank you.
All right.
We'll
make
come
sure
by-
we get make sure
we'll
we
come by
all
and
get
show
an
you the plans.
invitation to your grand opening. So
Absolutely.
We can
Hopefully we can do a
participate.
ribbon cutting.
Thank you.
There's a motion, please vote. Please post. You're in business. Congratulations.
Good deal.
Thank you, Councilman. And we will now move on to item number 67, ROC 44510, review of condition, public hearing, applicant Walmart Stores, Inc., DBA Walmart number 3655, owner Walmart Real Estate Business Trust, for possible action on a request for a review of condition of a previously approved special use permit, SUP 3653, to delete conditions 6 and 7 that state the sale of alcoholic beverages shall be limited to the sale of beer and wine only, and the sale of individual containers of any size of beer, wine coolers, screw tap wine is prohibited. All such products shall remain in their original configuration as shipped by the manufacturer. Further, no repackaging of containers into groups smaller than the original shipping container shall be permitted, end quote. At 10440 West Cheyenne, this is in Councilman Anthony's Ward 4. Staff recommends approval. This is a public hearing. I declare it open. Is the applicant or representative pregnant? That's good.
I hope I don't look pregnant, but
Am I really in this body today?
My name
Anyway,
is
or
Andy Moore with-
representative present, please state your name.
my name is Andy Moore, 100 North City Parkway, Suite 600, with the law firm of
Okay,
Brownstein
that will go
Hyatt,
down in history.
and we're representative for Walmart Stores, Inc.
Aren't you the lucky one?
No.
This is a public hearing. I declare it open. Please state your name.
My name is Anthony Harley, 123 David. Walmart, that's kind of small company, it's a little bit of the place, right?
You're correct, yes.
You know, I mean, largest thing in the world, whatever. But anyway, this is in your ward, right, Mr. Andy? I don't like you nowhere. Thanks and good luck. I know you're going to pass it. Thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else wishing to be, oh, look, see, he's trying to get that good luck on his hand. Anyone else wishing to be heard? Hearing none. Councilman Anthony, aren't you lucky?
Thank you, Mayor. I'll make a motion to follow staff's recommendation for approval.
Thank you. There's a motion. Please vote. Please post.
That's better than Mr. Quando.
Oh, my. A motion carries, you lucky man. And if, in fact, you happen to have a significant other, assure them you're not pregnant.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, number 68, SDR 44168, Site Development Plan Review, Public Hearing, applicant owner, WSC REO 11 LLC, for possible action on a request for a major amendment to an approved Site Development Plan Review, SDR 18693, for a proposed 2,800 square foot restaurant with drive-through with waivers to allow no landscape buffer along the north and west perimeters where 8 feet is required on approximately 0.77 acres at the northwest corner of Sahara and Richfield Boulevard. This is in Ward 1, Councilwoman Tarkanian. Both planning and staff recommend approval. This is a public hearing. I declare it open. Is the applicant present or representative? Please state your name.
Yes, Kasidius Shachavicius, Design Cell Architecture, 10777 West Twain Avenue, Las Vegas.
Thank you. Anyone wishing to be heard on this item, please come forward.
I'm just going to speak on it. Y'all hope I never come back, and Mr. Tartini is not here today anyway, but they recommend approval both by staff and by planning, so hey, have a good day with it. Thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else wishing to be heard? close this public hearing, and is there a motion on behalf of Councilwoman Tarkanian? Councilman Barlow.
Yes, Mayor, thank you. Question for you, is this the old Portac site?
I'm sorry?
The location of your facility?
No, it's a new building.
Oh, it's a new building?
Correct.
Okay, it kind of reminded me of the old Portac that's in Sahara, that's why I asked. Okay, I'll move to follow staff's recommendation for approval, subject to all conditions. Thank
I
you.
have a question.
Question, Councilman Coffin?
I don't object to the motion. I just wanted to find out more about it because the applicant is so quiet.
Okay.
When you have an opportunity to advertise to the citizens of Las Vegas, at least say what kind of food you're going to offer.
This is a building next to office center, and it's designed in a style that would recollect, the same Spanish architecture that the whole site is. About the food, this is clearly is not determined at this point. Okay. It will be determined later.
Okay, thank you.
Councilman?
That's what I thought. This is the location that I was referencing. The building that you're going in is adjacent to the site that I was referencing. Okay. I was just basically trying to orientate the location in my head. And once I saw it come up on the screen, it basically validated my question. So,
okay.
Thank you. Good luck to you. It's a good site.
And in furtherance of that, you are on Richfield at Sahara, on the corner, the northeast corner of Richfield?
Northwest corner of Richfield.
Okay, so that's across the street from the old something Frog and...
Correct.
And Starboard or Portac, whichever it was. It's across the street from that. The northwest. You're on the northwest side of Richfield.
Yeah,
at the corner of Sahara.
Yeah, what you call the Frogs, that's on the Spanish Oaks. That's a little bit further north.
Okay.
North from there. So it's in the same complex.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, thank
same
you.
geographic area. Yes, I did. The motion for approval.
Any other
subject to all
questions,
conditions.
comments? There's a motion. Please vote. Please post. Motion carries. Good luck to you. Please tell us as soon as possible what you're offering to eat. I live in the neighborhood.
Okay, thanks.
Okay, item number 69. I would instruct the city clerk to set the public hearing dates and appeals from the City Planning Commission meetings and dangerous building or nuisance litter abatements. Thank you. And we will now move into citizen participation. Citizen participation. Public comment during this portion of the agenda must be limited to matters within the jurisdiction of the City Council. No subject may be acted upon by the City Council unless that subject is on the agenda and is scheduled for action. If you wish to be heard, come to the podium, please, and give your name for the record. The amount of discussion on any single subject, as well as the amount of time any single speaker is allowed, may be limited. Are there any members the public who wish to speak under this portion of the agenda? And we will be setting the time at 3 minutes. Anyone, please?
Hello, my name is Rasan Joshua Collins, and I'm a public minister for the Lord Jesus Christ. And in hopes of getting people to heaven, I encourage people to stay away from sin. And one of the messages I preach is that sexual sin and greed leads to hell. Be sober, don't curse, smoke, gamble, or lie. And remember to help the poor if you can. Jesus was homeless too. And also just let people know out there, I recently finished a book. It's called One Nation Under Gold. And it explains basically why cities that promote immorality are actually guilty of treason for basically betraying the Christian legal heritage of America. And you can find this book online. It's www.rjoshuacollins.wordpress.com. That's www.rjoshuacollins.wordpress.com. And with any questions or anything, you can email me at servingjesus99212@yahoo.com. I'd love to hear your comments or questions or anything else. You have prayer requests, you can email them there. Again, the email is servingjesus99212@yahoo.com. If you have trouble finding the book, let me know. And also, there's a free CD on there I recently completed also that's free. You can download it. I do Christian music also, and that's all free. And essentially, the book contains a lot of legal ammunition for those desiring to uphold and promote morality and Christian values in Las Vegas and America. And again, I just encourage people to follow the Lord Jesus Christ. I've shared this book and CD with a lot of people in the community and have gotten a lot of positive reviews from it. So I figured I'd come here and share it with the City Council. And you're, of course, free to take a look at it. And I'd love to hear your responses as well. And I encourage people to, of course, share the book with pastors, friends, government leaders, people that can hopefully help us to come back to our Christian legal heritage in America, the one nation under God that it's supposed to be. Again, the book is titled One Nation Under Gold, which is kind of what's happened in America, unfortunately. And if you have any questions, just let me know again. Email servingjesus99212@yahoo.com. Thanks a lot.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Anyone else wishing to be heard, please come forward, state your name.
My name is Augusta Gary, and the last time I was here, the mayor wasn't here, but I guess most of the people were here. And what I'm concerned about is this, I think it's 57, 58, but anyway, it has something to do with the application for Bustin' Suds car wash owners. And this keep going in abeyance. And Councilman Barlow is my councilman. I have never been treated this way. I've been voting since 1956. I don't know what discrimination is because my dad kept us from it in Louisiana. We were protected. But to me, this is discrimination, having us come down here, and it's in abeyance. And we have around 80 people against this Bustin' Suds. Now, in Las Vegas, there are things that has happened to us on the west side. I come from a reputable community, and 3 houses apart, we have 2 attorneys. We have the undersheriff. They still have ties in the community. Our neighborhood watch is in the undersheriff's his family home. This do not make sense to have us coming here and this being postponed. We know this is not good for our community, and we will cooperate with you, Councilman Barlow. And anything, even I will put money in to get something to come into our neighborhood that is profitable. We have a plaza at 1000 Martin Luther King, nice plaza. Bernie Booker. We have another plaza, Lonnie Walston. You don't see policemen. You don't see fire departments. You don't hear shootings. People come from the strip to get services. And this car wash deal, I know it's not on the agenda now. We need OSHA. I'm a test site worker. I know a lot even about mop water, what can happen that's on a car wash. We need OSHA to come in here and do a study. This is not fair what's happening to us. I am for commercial. I voted for this over 50 years ago. My family has owned property since in the 40s. My late husband came here in 1953. We haven't been treated in this manner before. Now, I'm able to come down here anytime because the community that I came out of, it's mostly 90% of us are seniors. They have signed this.
Thank you, Ms. Gary, and we are on for the 18th, and just sorry for the continued abeyances, but we have to deal with the issues with which we have to deal.
Okay,
so
well,
hopefully we'll see you on the 18th.
And definitely this time we won't be in abeyance.
Mayor, let me
Please,
just
Councilman
respond
Barlow.
just roughly. Thank you so very much for being here, number one, and for being a citizen of the community that participates in the legislative process. One thing about me and the way in which I legislate is I have to treat everyone, whether they be an applicant or the community, as fair as possible. And so the applicant came to me and asked whether or not I would allow him or provide him the opportunity to hold this item in abeyance one more time, to give him an opportunity to come back into the community to host another neighborhood meeting, to have the conversation with some revised plans that he showed my staff and I, that he wanted to go back out and present them to the community to see, in fact, if the community could support his new plans. And I shared with him, I said, that's fair, because the community should know that your plans are different than what those individuals who attended the first neighborhood meeting opposed. So I said, yes, I will obey it one more time to give you an opportunity to go back out and host a neighborhood meeting. Now, a neighborhood meeting is going to be scheduled, and I will attend that neighborhood meeting as well, that the applicant will be hosting, and you will be receiving notification, as well as all of the residents in that area. And the comments that come back from that neighborhood meeting, which is coming up, I'm pretty sure within the next, well, at least before the April 18th City Council meeting, we will basically take the information, and then I will have an opportunity to make a decision whether or not this item is recommended for approval or denial. And so hopefully we'll have some conclusion by the 18th. So I apologize for you having to come down here, but there was really no opportunity for me to get the message out to the masses that this item was going to be obeyed. So I made that call in order to be fair and transparent and pro-business, if you will, because there are a lot of resources and businesses that are needed in the community. And so I don't want to chase anyone that's looking to do business in this community away. I want to basically be as fair as possible, because it may not be this application that you can support, but he may come back with another application that you can support. And so I think that's only fair to you as a resident to do just that.
You're speaking my language now, and we will agree. But I tell you what, this neighborhood meeting, please be there. I was at the other one. I've been to two, and you weren't there.
That's true.
But we were there.
But my staff was there, and so when my staff
No,
is there,
I don't agree with your staff. I vote for you.
It's okay. I will be.
I want you there.
I will be at the next one.
Okay.
But just so that you know, I can't be at every meeting, and that's why I have a staff, because I have a big ward that I run, and so sometimes neighborhood meetings all fall on the same day, and so we have to divide up and basically represent at each one of the meetings. So I can't be in 3 places at one time. But I can assure you that I will be at this upcoming neighborhood meeting, so that you can not only touch me, but talk to me. How about that?
That's good enough, because,
Right.
okay, because
So
this
thank you
is
so
the
very
second
much.
time this happened. And the
Okay.
people in the Scotch 80s didn't allow this in their community. See, I have a long memory. I've been here a long time. I'm looking for you.
All right.
Definitely looking for you at that meeting.
We'll do. You'll see me.
Okay?
And I'll be sure to come up and give you a hug.
No, you're not. You don't have,
All
you
right.
don't have to hug.
Anyone else wishing to be heard at this time, please state your name, and you will be limited to 3 minutes as well. Thank you very much.
How you guys doing, Mayor and Council? My name is Tamay Hodup. I'm in the 89030 section. I came to address the Mayor and Council about the same thing that I have been addressing for over 2 years now. I wanted to really make this clear or whatnot, and my statements I know is kind of very controversial, because that's the type of person I am. Nevertheless, reality and actuality are the same things when you present something in this manner. And what I mean by that is we are now in a form of what's called a New World Order. As President Bush, Reagan, during that same tenure, they addressed the whole country, telling us that this was going to come about a time, which was about 25 years ago. Maybe we didn't understand. I was very young at the time or what have you, but that time is now here. And within that time period, it shows that that each Freemasons and Eastern Stars that I spoke about many other times, as you see right here, which is a major list. It's probably more than this, because people want to push me aside because of what I'm actually addressing, which is, it's almost like saying the name of Jesus. In some countries, you can be ostracized, or you can actually lose your life. Freemasonry is something that runs our country. through products, through money. When you pull up a dollar bill, $100 bill, you cannot miss it, from the pyramid to the eye that's on there. Now, with that being said, is this: during that time period, certain individuals will be pushed to the side. The Bible speaks about a time that says the last shall be first and the first shall be last. But within this time period, the actual first will be first and the last shall be last. Meaning that people who are on the upper management, upper social status, economic status, or what have you, and people who were doing business as usual will be moved to the side. I've given much probable cause, details specifically about who these people are, and how I'm being directly reflected by this. I have pictures here, Mayor, that I would like your personally self look at to let you know that I serve this community. And I have pictures here that show you exactly who these individual leaders are when it comes to the Zulu killers, being American, being part of the American Legion, 1919, which is you guys' jurisdiction, and like I said, over 20 other ones that are within your city. Chips and transmitters are being placed in individuals. I'm the individual. The next step for us is to be able to remove this and for me to be compensated. That's the next step.
Thank you, Mr. Holdrip. Because you're out of time, was there a particular specific that you wanted to mention? I will give you 15 more seconds, but we do have to adjourn this meeting.
Yes,
so
okay.
if you would just get to that point, I would appreciate it.
Well, my
If
major...
you'll give us 15 seconds, City Clerk, please.
Mayor, Council, the major thing that I want to address is that I shouldn't be pushed aside and just looked at as this is some small, this is just some small thing. This is actually a big thing. And what I mean by that is that this can cause me to be on Main Street. When you look at it, I have spoke specifically about James Allen and also North Las Vegas police officer Ed Weathers, who are part of the mob division. Now, these individuals have enough power within their jurisdiction of other Freemasons to connect and destroy my livelihood. And point being is because we all worked within the Boys and Girls Club. It's nothing but a quick call.
Okay, I'm sorry. I wish I could let you go on further, but
Okay.
you're over 4 minutes.
I just wanted to
and we appreciate that. And I know you've been talking with staff, and hopefully that will help resolve some of the issues, as well as continuing on the dialogue with North Las Vegas. I do recall. And so I thank you very much for coming forward to us today. Whoops. As I said, unfortunately, we're out of time, and I think either continuing the dialogue there with the staff and or North Las Vegas is the appropriate action. I wish I could give you time, but I can't give you any more, sir. I appreciate it, and I appreciate your coming forward again. Thank you.
Mayor, if I may, a couple things. One, we're really not agendized for this conversation, so we got to cut it short. Two, about 8 of us met with Mr. Holdup last week at your request, and what we determined after speaking with North Las Vegas is he's got some issues with North Las Vegas, their police department, their detention services. Really, they've been working with him for about 2 years now. The mayor over there has talked to him a couple times on her own. As late as 2 weeks ago, Mayor Pro Tem Goins Brown, the police chief, the deputy chief, a captain, quite a few people met with this gentleman to address his ongoing issues in North Las Vegas. Certainly we'll speak with him, but this is a North Las Vegas matter, and I would just suggest that we let him deal with the folks over in North Las Vegas.
Thank you, Council. Appreciate that. Anyone else wishes to be heard under this portion of the agenda before we move on to the final piece? Please come forward, state your name.
Good evening, Mr. Mayor and City Council. My name is Anthony Hartley, live 123 Sir David. The item that I want to talk with you about is about, the company that owns all the big flags is Turbo. I think, is that the name of it? Yeah, well, okay. Well, they put up the great big United States flags flying all over the valley, and they took them all down. And you know, I love the flag because it represents our country, you know. And that disturbs me a little bit. And another thing, I was getting a bad reputation for being abusive to women and little girls. You know, we got a bad thing on hurting women, you know what I'm saying? And so, but I believe in, I don't want to get in with the little items that we go in this country. I'm too busy being concerned about our entire nation, okay? And removing them giant flags, that to me, that means we're having less and less respect for our country. And so flags, that's all it does, represent, you know, where we live. And this is the month for women. You know, this is Women's Month. Hats off, Mayor. And then I got a couple of things I'd like to show you concerning our president and whatever. And because this is all national related, but it's all our country. So I want to show you something that I told my wife I need to sell it. I have Obama's signature before he became president. And so when I first got it, I went to his campaign manager. And he told me, he said, no, that's going to be his real signature. So I just want to let y'all know. I have a signature, if you don't mind me showing on that thing, of the president before he became president. Is it on there for the people? It is? Oh, okay. Well, anyway, so when I first saw it, I thought, you know, people scribble stuff, you know. So I didn't know that was going to be that man's trademark signature. That's the signature that he used all the time as president. So on the 8th of January in 2008, 12 days after he got that hour or whatever, and he got his campaign running. So what I'm trying to say, I told my wife maybe I need to sell it. See, this was his signature before he became president, but it's still his landmark signature. And on the other side, he sent me a letter when he became the president and did his signatures again. You know what I'm saying? That is actually his, you know, his landmark. Okay. So after that, I got a letter from the president he succeeded, and that, you know, Mr. Bush, right? And his wife, Mr. Them. But all I'm really trying to say is that I'm concerned about our country, and I'm very worried. And you know, they're trying to take away prayer and moving flag and all that kind of stuff. But remember, our country was founded on you know, the founding father. You know, God's on the money. You know, God's everywhere. You know, we are God-loving country, and people trying to take everything. You know, remove the flag, remove God, and this is very frightening. I love our country, and the people in this country got to stand up for the great nation that it is. If not, we'll lose freedom. Thank you for letting me come by. And good luck to everybody, and City Council, and Ms. Mayor, and all y'all. Have a good day. And I'll throw myself out.
Thank you, Mr. Hodges.
Thank you. Todd Farlow, 240 North 19th Street. And by the way, Councilman Barlow, you have an excellent staff at those meetings. Earlier this morning, Juanita Clark was here, and in the transition to the new place, where some of us got lost. The recommending committee meetings used to be in the city manager's office, but in a way, this was slid through with nobody was paying attention. She wanted to address it today, but it was too late. But it concerns item number 37, and perhaps Dr. Lewis could tell us what's going on. On page 4, on section 7, this is what they're upset about. On line 18 there, A, it says, the owner or operator of a vehicle concerning which a notice of infraction has been issued and served in accordance with this chapter must, and then it has a subtitle 1, admit responsibility. And they think, you know, that this is bypassing the judicial system and that, and surrendering all of their rights. And I mean, if this is what they're talking about, they do have a right to be concerned with this. So perhaps somebody could tell me why that limit, admit is in quotation marks, because they don't understand it and they're very upset. Thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else wishing to be heard here? Hearing none, we'll move on to item 71, council member recognition. Comments made by individual city council members during this portion of the agenda will not be acted upon by the city council unless that subject is on the agenda and scheduled for action. Is there any member of the council who wishes to speak under this portion of the agenda?
Yes, Mayor.
Yes, Councilman Ross.
Thank you very much. Today we have a missing juvenile. Of course, we are helping Nevada Child Seekers look for all missing children. This young lady's name is Monica Arnett. Her nickname is Monzer. She is 16 years old. She's 5'5", 130 pounds. She has light brown eyes and brown hair. Of course, her complexion is fair. Monica was last seen in the area of West Flamingo and Rainbow in the Spring Valley area. Monica was last seen wearing dark black skinny jeans, a burgundy top, and mismatched socks with no shoes. She has a scar on the top of her left hand. Monica needs glasses but wasn't wearing them because she's nearsighted. So if any of you have any information, please contact the phone numbers listed below. That would be Nevada Child Seekers, 702-458-7099. Thank you, Mayor.
Thank you very much. Appreciate that, Councilman Ross. Councilman Barlow.
Thank you, Mayor. I'm going to share with you an item on behalf of Councilwoman Tarkanian. In her absence, the City of Las Vegas City Council invites you and your furry friends to join Councilwoman Lois Tarkanian.
What a perfect council person to give this to.
Oh, wow. You're invited to join Councilwoman Lois Tarkanian for the Puppy Love event, Friday, March 31st, 10 a.m. to 12 noon at Woofter Family Park. And the address is 1600 Rock Springs Drive. It is free for the entire community and families, and they want you to know to show our four-legged friends some love. Doggy raffle, dog parade, snacks for two- and four-legged friends. So I guess, Mayor, that includes me being two legs, and the four-legged friends, our dogs and cats, while supplies last. For more information, please call 702-220-6405. And I wonder if this is supposed to be 229-6405. Why don't you just call 229-6405? I think there's a mistake here on their flyer. 229-6405. Or, of course, you can go on to the Councilwoman's website at www.lasvegasnevada.gov/Ward 1 for Lois Tarkanian. As far as my announcements for Ward 5, there is a neighborhood meeting taking place this Saturday at Hears Park. Residents are invited to come out and join me and staff, as well as members of the Kiwanis Club who are looking to adopt Hears Park. And the discussion will be various park equipments that the Kiwanis Club would like to donate to the park. So anyone who lives near Hears Park, please come out this Saturday from 10 to noon, and we will be discussing the various amenities that the community would like to see inside of Hears Park. Next week, Tuesday, March 27th, will be Coffee with the Mayor and myself at Starbucks from 8 a.m. to 9 a.m. At Starbucks located at Bonanza and Rancho. So please come out and join Your Honor, and I will be her co-host at her Coffee with the Mayor at Starbucks, 8 a.m. to 9 a.m., Bonanza and Rancho at Starbucks. And finally, March 28th is the F Street meeting taking place at Doolittle Community Center starting at 5:30 for the final art design and public right-of-way for the F Street design. And that will conclude the updates for Ward 5 as well as Ward 1. Thank you. 5:30 p.m. March 28th to discuss the F Street artwork for the redesign of the bridge. Yes. Thank you.
Thank you. Councilman Coffin. Mike?
Thank you. First thing I want to say is, of course, best wishes to Jerry Tarkanian and Lois Tarkanian. We miss Lois today. Councilman Tarkanian is a valuable part of our organization, and it's not the same without her. And Jerry, we think of you. We all in this community miss you terribly, and we don't want you to get sick. So watch yourself, take good care of yourself, and come back out there and help the Rebels have a winning basketball season next year. The other, I want to make an announcement about something good happening at the Stupak Community Center. That's on West Boston, 251 West Boston. We're going to have a fun and fitness fair on Saturday, March 31st from 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. And it's free for the whole family. Food and fun, games, medical screening, the kinds of things that are important for all of us. If you don't have any money, particularly, you don't need money to come to this. You can register for workshops and other activities and classes. This is an area of town which has been hard hit over the last couple of generations, and it's making a comeback. And so we want all of you who live near the Stratosphere Tower, particularly to the west of the tower and right near the tower, to come over to the center and get acquainted with our wonderful staff that is there. They're there to help you. This is funded by the Stupak Community Center Youth Council and the YNAP Youth Grant. There'll be vendors from the Health District, American Lung and the Diabetes Association, Red Cross, and many more. Thank you, Your Honor.
Thank you, Councilman, and I know we all share, as we said at the beginning of the meeting today, our best wishes for a quick recovery, Coach Tarkanian and Councilwoman. You've been well covered by your fellow colleagues here, so we wish you speedy recovery and getting home. And Councilman Ross, I understand you have a few more.
Mayor, I apologize, and council members, I've had so many agenda items on today's agenda that I've just totally lost track of my responsibilities and duties up here. But I did neglect, as we all know, that it is springtime, and we are wasting no time at the Centennial Hills Amphitheater to begin our series of movies in the park. Friday, March 30th, at 6:30 p.m., we will be showing Kung Fu Panda 2, so I expect you all to be there to watch Kung Fu Panda 2. You haven't seen one yet? We'll get you hooked up. It should be great. The weather looks good, and we're starting our series of movies in the parks, and I know council members, you all kind of are doing the same thing, so splitting time up. A lot of great things going to happen in the city as the summer begins, so would recommend everybody to pay attention and look closely. Go to LasVegasNevada.gov for more information.
Thank you, and I understand Mayor Pro Tem has no announcements, so with that, we will adjourn today's meeting and see you on the 4th, and with the swearing in of our brand-new councilman, Bob Beers. Thank you all very, very much.